One last day, the rip-roaring adventure of PEC to start off 2026 is upon us, and we have got one more chance for all of these teams to try and strike at the Esports World Cup. Of course, the PGS circuits that are coming up as well. Trying to stake your claim on a place at PNC. There is so much on the line today for these teams. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kalaris here, joining you for all of the festivities. And of course, we have Martin, we have Mark, good old Eminem to round things out. Mr. Martin, it's going to be a good day here for PEC.
Yeah, what a day, and what a career-defining moment than it should be.
Mr. Mark, it's going to be an exciting time. I think that it will be close towards the very top. I have to pivot. I feel like, as much as I would love to see I feel like Vitality and Navi might be clinching one of these. This is going to be spicy.
Oh, yeah. It's like obviously we're climbing, and then the construction workers, we can't turn our eyes away from the construction workers. There's still a lot to do, but
this will apparently have too much. That 89.
And just, you know, doing BRDM things and doing all.
На этом все. Ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал и
Legit point.
Що?
You're suddenly
Народ, перша каточка пішла. Перший кабельок теж пішов. Так що давайте, погнали. По суті, по факту, по ідеї, все має працювати. Народ, якщо щось десь не працює, буду дуже вдячний за підказки. Так, Наві, по стандарту на свою спотову точечку летять. А, туди і віртуси пиздують. Ох ти що, як?
Contention as Ascend though going out quite early here. It's quite weird for me because Ascend will normally go either two other places, which would be Primorsk or be going to kind of Stal, but obviously they're jumping over the top. They're taking their SAE well, who didn't qualify to this phase final. So they're going over the top of TWIS, who would have been more happy to sort of expand out the power section. But actually, it's not too bad. And one update actually for Ascend. I spoke to T-Bone today, James, and actually they made a slight change today. Oh my god. T-Bone is the IGL up until late game.
Так, зона, блядь, зона. Зона, скоріше за все, я думаю, що зійдеться на мульту. Я щось ставлю такі ставочки, що зона на мульту піде.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I think it's not just the Ascend boys that rate Kiliakai very highly. It's also other teams that are currently rating Kiliakai very highly, right?
Що доцю?
So I think that the people have got quite a bit of respect for his abilities and how they're going to play things out here. That said, though, Mark, this circle is gruesome for these teams. This is not what many of these teams wanted to see. Because the thing is that yes,
так, що це нам показують Віталіті, або болотян, які нам показують.
Even when so many teams will commit military on something like this, because it is more technically military leaning. So there is a terrible world where all of these teams are kicking themselves for some of the choices that they may make early game here.
Yeah, and to talk about those early choices, our VP who drop across towards that Westbridge, they've already moved themselves over towards military as well, so they might need some big points. Be interested to see if they kind of set up shop, so to speak, and just waits out as Levante before he needs figure out how he gets into this game, because for these guys on the other side, an emergency pickup might be the only call for them to get in.
Cristiani starts things off, taking down Lou. Not bad at all. He's been a bit of a phenom as Cristiani. As I said before, a star-making performance from this year for PEC. So much so that people like Ranger were thinking to themselves, you know, where's he going to go next? Very impressive stuff so far. Because the thing is, that if you're suddenly on constant rivals pages alongside Levante and Hackatori and all these things, like
Так, Батулін без вебки, Лу без вебки, лише екземпл, бля, як чмо там сидить в хаті, блядь. І Лу нахуй, як паскуда останній.
Think what they're going to do for this mid to late part of the year, right? If you're a coach, if you're an analyst staff, or if you're an owner of an org, and you're looking for players, especially you look at a player like Cristiano and go, do you know what? That's not a bad gamble for us to take.
Everybody's already kind of
Цей оранжевий жовтий зелений ростуть.
ascend on the kind of those edge plays. So for similar boat locations, regardless of the fact they may end up at the moment. Over here along the coastline. I think there's already a few shots on the I don't think
Патесь. Що ти хочеш? Дати тобі морозиво? Що можу?
Бери. Можеш теж чистити. Можеш теж чистити, чисти, давай.
Так. Ну, блядь, Йошки вже настільки по цьому пейсингу. Серйозно?
wasn't shots prior, so actually makes me think that is the case. As soon as you have shots towards you, of course he turned tail and left a little bit, but he's still open to those shots. The rest of Yo though is falling back from it. As soon as you see those shots, as I say, you've got to think that Yo has been saying this for a while, so you've got to be very careful about your movements at the moment.
Це немає.
They know that Ket is there, and then
Та буде цей крутити.
out of there. He's gonna have to sit and wait.
Немає.
Lucky enough for them, they're not backing off. The guys have repositioned over towards Milton Power, so they have eyes on Cappy, PWD, and James are now falling back.
Та скрути, ти що?
Get
Так на що все було відкручувати? Взагалі, скрути, аби не було навіть чути. Ну так ясно.
You've got to look at it Ascend, you've got to look at a Team Yo, and what else have they got to lose here apart from being aggressive? So a nice start here, but it is day number 3.
No, I agree with you what you can get done, right? At the same time, in reference to those emergency pickups that we were talking about from Slack and Vitality, I think Vitality coming in slightly later on that emergency pickup has got to be very wary about where they drop. Because, based on the fact that there was just an emergency drop, coming on at exactly the same angle as them. So they're going to know that there were already teams in military island already, but they've especially got to be very cautious about the fact that they're coming in behind other emergency pickups.
It's going to be about timing. Over. Construction workers being one of them. Obviously their drop will allow them to open up this kind of east bridge. VP didn't close the gate on that west bridge, but they have moved fully in on towards that southeast. I do worry, you alluded to it at the very beginning, and I've seen it so many times. A zone that pulls back towards the west opens up the main island yet again.
Yeah, like that is something that really then causes even more problems, where you can still the 50-50 into circle. For their emergency pickup now. Similar thing that I said about Vitality, right? You've got to be super careful. Technically, you're hitting military up here.
Так бери що?
They do have to be very wary about how they're
Чим так нікого не можеш, ніхто не дивиться?
as fast as possible with those parachutes, I think.
Та і так нікого ще немає. Хто буде, думаєш, спеціально будуть перемотати?
Алло. do worry. Don't get me wrong. I think we're going to miss here. Well, it will go back up to the if we lose so much of the land mass on the next shift, that could be catastrophic for these teams.
They see vehicles on that, so they know that someone's on there. There is
Дуже довгий кабелек, піздець, як неудобно їх. Тихо, Hello My Dad уже когось виніс, блядь, треба на ірі зустрітися, то я щось маю протикую, блядь, ігру. Дивись, я почистив, дають бікап. Твоя задача, так його лупити, береш на руку і такою його намотуєш.
Levante and the boys here from Vitality.
Все, я так буду чистити, дай тобі його здавати.
Any position of theirs. That's some lovely bunny hopping.
Perfect as well. Eccentric. I know for both these teams, yes, they can ensure that they get the better. Yes, they've got to be a bit cautious, but PWD's fallen.
Так, Джого Боніта з Віталіті файтиться. Хтось когось... TWIS вже когось... А! Віталіті вибили TWIS? Джого Боніта вибив. Чи Ейсен вибив? Хтось когось вибив, коротше, TWIS вибив. Я не можу поняти. Відкрий їх.
They will be able to clear that, and that gives them a good step up for game one.
I find losing PWD very interesting there for Yo, because again, they just went very aggressive north on like a little bit of a space there. And the rest of the team now just sat way further down with an emergency pickup. There's not going to be any recovering of any blue chips of any kind there for PWD. So he was so disconnected. I guess this is what you meant by they're going to be throwing something at the wall and seeing what sticks, because unfortunately this one...
Бля, чого не показують NAVI? Чого не показують Немезі? Немезі який? Немезі на 4-му місці. Бля, до речі, давайте подивимося на табличку. NAVI поки що впевнено. Їбать ту Люсю. Їбать, там зараз так мала віддасть. Їбать ту Люсю, як впевнено на 1-му місці. Другий йдуть Віталіті, 87 очок. TWIS йдуть 82 очка. Ну і Немезі 67, бля. Я думаю, що вони... Дай Бог, щоб вони ще затрималися в топ-5. Дай Бог, щоб вони ще в топ-5 нахуй залишились.
We are about to see go. Okay, so it's gone heavy down towards that south side. That's really good. So we don't hold us that craziness that could be potentially that sort of east bridge. But this does cause a problem because it's shifted so far down towards the south. It does mean that we've got a hell of a lot of water. VP have claimed so much terrain on the south side, and everybody is looking up who can be king of the hill.
Yeah, Twisted Minds is still actually on kind of what felt like a bridge camp moment there from against the position of Nemesis, but at the same time, it's a bit of damage against BGG, and that's interesting because BGG has already got themselves the observatory here up on the hill, so losing one member is going to hurt them quite a bit.
Так, блядь, чекай, на услаки розмотують уже йош.
Really way too late for an emergency pickup here. If they'd have done this with PWD a little bit earlier, this could have worked out, but there's so many teams here waiting in wait.
Everyone's on the outside. Let's Twisted Minds again. I need a good step up. Batulin's though on the end of the pier and might be on the end of his terrorist team Nemesis. They are lurking. Maybe they're one of the 5 teams that he might have highlighted yesterday.
А, сука, диви. Плу винесли, ну і слава Богу. Ви болотяниці, блядь, посипали маленько. Сука, Йошки від'їхали. Йошки на якому взагалі у нас позиції? Бля, так і не показали. О, NAVI вже в центрі. Я казав, диви, ніхуя, зона зійшлася на цей. Диви, зараз Немезисів будуть твісти вибивати. Стоп, гарантія, просто. Диви, да. Все, пиздос. Сусід пішов спати. Да, Мелман пішов спати. Ні, Перфектіса нокнули. Нормально. Да, і заєбісь, екземпл теж в'їбашили. А Батулін ззаді їде. Я думаю, що Батулін теж закриють, він останній. Але в Немезісу теж двоє ще живих, да? Ні, да, двоє на ногах. Сука, добивай Мелмана. Пістушня москальська, блядь. Єбай, Батулін ще... Пиздец просто. Діфікс цей сусіда добрав. Ну так правильно, щоб бушка не дали. Нормально. І стейк сам лишився. І Діфікс нокнутий.
Betulians, we always talk about his prowess when it comes to his
Ну,
big
тепер
brain.
цікаво, хто кого
That's what
нокне,
Demon's
блядь.
logos for it was made after Betulians, but he can shoot. He can shoot all right. Oh.
You have to try and make a move. It's worth noting while we're waiting for this fight to come to an end.
Стать сібався, бадулі навалює по ньому, блядь.
Find safety. S2G have gone
Ну
back.
да, чуєш, москалик, я охуєвши.
They've kept on the public transport. They've
Ну
punched
да.
the ticket again. They've gone back to the mainland.
I suspect.
Ну зато на мезі зафармив 2 очка, і стизом зафармили 3 очка, паскуди.
Well, considering how busy Novo was, like, did
Обідно.
they want to be there?
This is
Like,
not a
oh,
stop.
yeah, we'll
Get
pass.
off.
Yeah, that's. I am slightly surprised as well. I don't know what their opportunity is going to be here. I thought they might have actually just jumped. You know where NAVI was when they actually were passing them by when the boat gets really quite close to that northern edge, but even that would have been.
God.
Oh my god.
Maybe they knew something we did.
Що там, що там?
Maybe they just needed a bit more.
Так, а Наві би, по суті, по факту, Наві би мали приймати зараз
If you're a Sen,
Пушу-дошу,
it's Chris go
якщо
out
я
there.
не помиляюсь.
Islands out on the east and just park
Пасувало
a
би їм
boat.
підняти
I would. He
Пушу-дошу.
might even be in a glider, to be fair, at this point.
Yeah, maybe. I know Kirexi's definitely in a glider. He's been kind of buzzing around that south side of the circle, so this is an opportunity for Virtus Pro to get some more points on the board here. That is quite a recall circle being this east. Whoa.
Хай вже виносять ховлів.
I can feel Martin's already putting that into AI.
Да,
the
блядь.
percentage of water.
Тут, блядь, віртуси літає. А, соляра закончила, бачу. Да, прилетіли, доліталися, блядь.
But he's going to take the opportunity just to land. Get the refuel back in as he'll find safety. Hive, on the other hand, not too far away as a neighbour. Ascend, though, receive a knock from Kiliakai from X-How, who are just ahead of him. For T-Bone,
Вибітай.
that's to put pressure to get round to him. And
Вибітай, Ваня.
he's still lurking out in the water. He's still patrolling at the battleship. You know, he's airborne. He's the RAF. He's out there. He's going to take the opportunity now to potentially give up the glider, but to get his boy back up.
I don't think we're.
That's me, what?
You know what? That's not gone well. We're going to do a little bit of jumping. It's really not working out. Oh god. He's German. He's not the RAF. This is ridiculous. It's called the Luftwaffe.
Yeah, the Luftwaffe.
Тільки десь, щоб там мала буде ходити, щоб...
Whatever happened, it didn't work out. So you have to call in for reinforcements. Kettle or T-Bone is going to have to go for the res for Kiliakai as it's Chris has to go down towards the waterfront. Think about an avenue he
Цікаво, чи Есі не живуть, то бачу у них... А ні, вони всі лише... О, Хакіш навалює, все, штурмам пиздарики. Є один мінус. Гранатку. Кундак. Періст везу, я нокнув. То їм пиздос. Ще один, там все, диви. Бляй, бустика нокнули, суки, паскуди. Хакіча теж нокнув, бустика добрали. Бля, це все їм пизда. От навіть довийобувались. Хакіча винесли, хто лишилося двоє. Хакіч і бустик мінус, лишився феєріст і... Феєріст і хто там?
We have a 60% chance of water versus land in this one, according to Martin.
Блядь, забув, що це.
It was at a glance, so it might be a
Spyro.
breeze now as these teams have to work in on the west, and there is not a lot of land. Think about the land train we've got. We've got Novo, which is
А де вони є?
urban, so again, safety for teams to get in there if they can get in there. Construction workers on the high ground, PGG on the high ground as well, and everyone else is fighting for a side of a hill.
I mean, it should move away from water, but I'm still scared of a potential weird circle. Okay, so we've gone over towards as much as we could have actually
Блядь, паскуди винесли
basically,
двох
which
навіть.
is nice
Ну,
here
навіть
for the
трохи, я
teams.
думаю,
It's a little bit of a reprieve considering the previous circles, as now all of the teams on that west side are going to be moving on, and Hive needs to do something. Stay limited. A bit crippled as a whole for this team, as needs to do something, and now Virtus Pro on the south side still has something to play. The construction workers, no slack, looking all right here in some of the positions that they've got.
You look around and apart from Navi Vitality, they've been the real winners so far,
Дай
especially
пий-пий.
from that emergency pickup.
З ума мені пий. Дай їй пий-пий.
From the migration they've had, they just now need to try and convert it. Storm request will fall down 2-0, get struck out at 15th place. I think this is going to be a bit more of a calm before the storm because these teams will find location and just try and lock it down.
I find it interesting that Navi, after the fight with Storm on Request and PGG, was able to bail as effectively as they did. Navi, Team Nemesis is gone though completely.
Наві тут пригають. Та, Спайро і Феєріст мають тут лишитися. Зараз їм, походу, від Джога Боніті буде пиздарити. Тому що цей сидить з дробашом, блядь, паскудна. А вони, походу, не тямуть, що ж тут хтось є. Зараз просто буде заходити і буде прийому, така, що ну його нафіг. Я щось так думаю. Не знаю, це так. Скоріше за все, це так і буде. Ще й зона, блядь, на контейнері сходиться. Просто піздець. Зона максимально херова, кончена. І що ж я скільки PUBG граю, блядь, ще ні разу в мене такої зони не було на контейнері. Це прям шок. Знаєш, він коли кривий, хуйово його чистити. Треба, щоб він був рівний. Да, ну я кажу. Феєріста тупонок, лишився один Спайро.
Pickaxe might be quite useful. Ferris gone, fortunately here for NAVI once again. Just one member remaining here for our lobby leaders in Spiro. One of the most veteran players here really in the lobby. As Slassen still just holding on against any potential nades coming his way. PGG did really well to be able to shut down NAVI and now move on to this position. They've got a little bit of room to work with, but they're going to be trading things off against Hive here in the distance, seeing what they can get done.
Pseudo Wildcats maybe take a bite of that as well, not too far. Snorty looking to try and take a bite. Bard does get Dante. So again, farming information for PGG. We've said they just want to win, and a handful of kills will be a game changer. Emergency pickups coming back in.
Ти що, вже пішла? Ти йдеш?
Means they're going to get bodies back up, but where do you go is my $1 million question, because you'd look at this and go, actually, Novo might be the only option that you can compete now.
How did Twisted Minds get Example and Perfectix back up? Batulix, you madman.
Єбать, вони що, піднялись? Єбать, вони всі піднялися, прикинь. А Немезісів нокнули. А коли... Аж їбать я протикав, коли Немезісів забрали. Піздець, вроді дивлюся, а вроді щось пройобую.
Novo, we're going Novo, we're going to get an urban ending. Surely it's northwest shift. The fact it has come down and kind of descended right onto that corner of the road, that's big decision making now for Twisted Minds. Example, Perfectix, they must be airborne, they must be trying to delay and try and scout. Right, they've got no other option. But back towards the fight though, Bushido Wildcats, they have taken a bite out of this one, because only does find one that will fall down to PGG now. They have to go.
Так, ну Наві ще живуть. Ще один Спайро там у них лишився. Подивимось, чи він щось зможе зафармити, буде ще якийсь очко одне за плейсмент. І GG тим часом розвалюють хайвів. У хайвах лишився ще двоє на ногах, в принципі. Може, ще й дадуть якогось відпору. Тут простіше казати, навіть, знаєш, болото воює з болотом, блядь, отак.
Perfectix is now swimming, and Example has been spotted in the air by some of these teams, but so he's slowly descending, but he is still up there, waiting for an opportunity. Okay, now he's landed, and now he's gone. Sorry, mate. That was as quick as that. Keta 98 with the M24. Unfortunately, no Car 98 for him just yet, but he does get actually that steal. So even more points for Ascent potentially. And again, this feels like their game to win from that kind of spot. Nobody's really going to be challenging them. There's going to be huge fights in the north, huge fights in the west, and then that will boil down to Ascend probably picking up some of the scraps.
Українці, Немезіси теж українці, тільки що Наві, що українці, блядь, вони, типу, ну, всі говорять, блядь, по... На жаль, вони всі говорять по... Русь. Сімпл говорить по-руськи, і Сімпл не грає PUBG. Сімпл це легенда, блядь, CS, Counter-Strike, а не PUBG. Вони всі... Бустик грає за Наві, але Бустик тим часом взагалі стрімить, говорить там по-русски, донати збирає в рублях, блядь, а не... Наві теж винесли, блядь, я провтикав, сука. Так само донати збирає, блядь, в рублях, ну типу така собі хуйня. Тому така хуйня.
Spidey senses are tingling that someone could be out there, and it is a smart play. Grenade comes through, STG go to detect the public transport. Eventually find himself now in Novo, fighting their way out. Head of my bad though, launches the...
Так, народ, бачу нас вже 4, всім доброго вечора. Дякую, що завітали. Що? Що? Бо купиш мені щось їсти, дати тобі карточку? Ну так поверни на карточку. Так іди куди хочеш.
Now, there's at the same time still getting a bit spicy here. Flashes forwards. Let's ignore that. Catch there for a second. That's a nice nade. 30 damage against Quetpa. They know everything's smoked off. So it's okay. Well, I love that nade. Still downstairs, I think.
Yeah, they're just checking off, aren't they? They're going one at a time. Eventually, they find one, but find themselves. Head of my bad, 2 for the price of 1. 50% of his team. Gets to try and charge. Head of my bad. Get that confirmation. Wildcats coming involved. He sees...
Народ, величезне прошу вибачення за те, що по мінімуму дивлюся, по мінімуму коментую, але просто в мене ще тут і сім'я, і все ж на купу. Нема так все легко, як і просто як не так, як хочеться, коротше. Ну а тим часом, всім народ, доброго вечора. Хто не натиснув лайк, хто не підписався, буду дуже-дуже вдячний за лайк, підписочку і елементарну підтримочку. Тим часом перфектикса забрали. Віртуси нокають хулів. Єбать, ще й добирають хулів. Єбать, там гранати залітають просто як целочки, блядь.
Yes, they do. I still feel like the west side eventually, though, will continue
Тримай.
these fights. We'll see, because I don't think anybody really wants to have to go towards Ascend.
Так, народ, мені походу зараз треба буде відійти на минуточку.
No slack is
Єбать, цей приписав йому хедшотик.
it's crazy.
Лучший, просто красава. Нахуй, отак було тобі і треба. Отак без разу. І так треба було давно. До речі, мені здається, що цей кетер, це напевно, що один з усіх кіберспортсменів, який грає... Блять, і Хріс теж нахуй? Тоже, блять, грає на палці. Ніхуя собі, ну Ейсенди це, напевно, одна...
We're top 4 now with Hello My Bad tonight.
Чим? Так, взяли і пішла.
He could have done from that spot, and I think he did enough.
На, телефончик, доцю, на!
But still just laying some of these shots against these teams. Realistically, as much as like I know that
Так, наставлю. Та не бери, на, тобі треба цей, на.
soon, I feel like everybody should be trying to shoot Ascend. It's too strong a position for them unless they can shift west.
Got a confirmation on Pixel. Pixel took a tumble. He got his toe stubbed by that car. For Ascends, he finds the pedicure that was needed. So 4 versus 4 versus 3 versus 2. And Ascends zonal control is just insane.
Really important game for No Slack here. If they can somehow make things work, that could be a potential catch-up for them. Alongside, well, technically Ascend as well, trying to catch up to the Twisted Minds position, which I think would really be the next checkpoint for these teams in the middle pack, or pseudo middle pack. There's T-Bone here, still looking towards construction workers. Only 2 alive for them. I think that their run of it here is going to be coming to an end pretty soon, as they're kind of the first team that really needs to move out of those smokes as well. VAR down to Sapta, of all people, over on that north side.
Yeah, look at this thing's read though. They know that actually the knocks happened up there. Oh my god, Fex launch a grenade. The Kobe rolls downhill, Sata goes down. So Ascend now working out exactly who's who. They see the opportunity with Vard. He's down to, but gets a couple of shots in towards Vard. But no, I know he's just sitting in the wings at the moment. I think they're waiting for an opportunity where they can launch forward. Let's be realistic. They're not going to launch across that northwest unless they really have to. They'll be happy staying at the
Так, подожди, Джаст.
As you say, biding their time and waiting for maybe Ascend to move out of spot so they can try and punish something like that, especially if the circle shifts away from them. I will say with that knock flush there by construction workers, I feel like that's as much of they possibly could have got from this as well. So well done by them. The bullet hose, the MG3, starting things off, and they're gone, right? So one knock, 1 kill for the construction workers there, I think is actually a decent win.
Так. О, народ, все, вже всі вернулися. Все, народ, дуже велике вам дякую. Дякую, що... Секунда, бо дитина то святе.
Yeah, they're in the top 3 at the moment. It is 4
Please
versus
no.
3 versus 3. There's no slack of VP are fighting on one side of the road. That zone has pushed back towards that side. It looks like the guys for Scav are going to reposition that Dorito. They have the pickaxe. A little bit of an edge here off the side of the mountain. Gives them the protection. But I'm worried. Ascend might get eager just to extend out. Eager to try and get some kills. And they might extend a little bit too far.
It really shows you like framing of teams, right? How
Так, бля, я все на світі проїбав.
for versus pro, but they can still do these kinds of things. And how good it has realistically been for Ascend, but it's just a different play style, not as quite as kill heavy for them, but they're still able to get in the late game situations. Yet they're only 1 point apart, despite those kind of outlooks on how these kind of two teams currently stack up against one another. Not too much surprise though, right? How hard we could potentially be on Virtus Pro, considering PGS3 champions of the first weekend as well here for PEC, as now Ascend is just looking to flex out for try and find whatever they can. The other side of this road is a bit treacherous, but a P90 in hand, technically I still favor, even though the road and it's very open, I feel like Ascend has a lot available to them, but once they actually have to move off of the little kind of defilades that they have, maybe both teams shoot at them.
Yeah, I think this is where we see that VP and No Slack sort of team up because they've got that ridge in between. The only thing I think that might be on Ascend's side is the utility. How much utility have they had to expel? They've not had that much pressure, so we've not seen many smokes out. No teams have got that close, so have they launched out a lot of grenades? But they did come here early. Kilikai, he's playing quick fit as he'll change his tire.
Nice.
So if PUBG doesn't work out for him, he's got a job for life there. And for Ascend, yeah, there's not, actually, to be fair, there's not that much. They've got a couple of smokes, not a lot of heavy utility. And don't forget, guys, we said before, Kilikai will be making the calls now. So T-Bone, IGL early to mid-game. Kilikai definitely in form now. This is his time to shine.
For sure. I'm wondering, just how many teams have pickaxes? How much can we deal with in terms of like making their own little dips, their own little divots? Maybe some nades forward here to create some as well here. Maybe expend some of that. Scav's already digging. I was looking up to see if Quick Fit was anywhere other than the UK, and apparently they are. So I was like wondering if anybody would actually get this reference outside of the UK.
Quick Fit everywhere, mate.
Are they?
No,
Netherlands. Oh, Italy. Okay, there you go.
Done. Global champions. Never going to change my car. No Slack down the bottom of the hill. Ascend not focusing on them. I think they've looked at that gap being a bit too high as they draw their attention now towards VP. Luca Ruxto, he's stuck finding diamonds. Does he know that potentially there could be utility coming his way? Well, he doesn't need to look that way when he's got Nixie looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, the game was looking good for Ascend up until kind of now. I do feel like both of these teams, the onus might be on them to deny Ascend from trying to get towards the road. Any slowdown. A lot of smoke's already been thrown down here now for Ascend, as you said, right? Like, how much have they expended before all of this? Although these nades, treacherous nades...
Так, добре, я вернувся. Так, наблюдаємо картину. Ноуслаки в 3, Віртуси в 3, Ейсенди в 4. У кого краща позиція? Бог його знає. Я би сказав, що в Ейсендю краща позиція. Нік Зінок, ну да. Болото. Лукарокса Кілякай нокнув. Диви, Ейсенди розвалюються від, блядь, єбать, Ейсендю нокнули, а я за Ейсендю був. Я думав, що вони зараз візьмуть топ. Піздець, зараз... А Курикс лишився сам. А тих лишилося 2. Піздець. Єбать, диви, що робить. Паскудяра. Ноуслеки вирили. Слава Богу, я радий, що ноуслеки, а не Віртуси. Давайте зразу сходом мотнемо на другу катку.
For PEC Spring Finals. It's our second finals here, your last chance to dance. And this is a very, very even, very, very fair and balanced playing path for all the teams to get into their usual spots here. Might have to land for a car and go a little bit further, but still it's a good one to get Miramar rounded off with our second match and 12th match overall here.
A little bit careful, a little bit careful. Looks like PGG will drop a little further, I think, than the one
Дуже
member
серйозно?
of Nemesis, unless they somehow congregate straight on stage and take him out.
Що?
Looks like they might actually be doing.
Єбать, я ще не
Very
пішла.
careful there, Steve. He's trying to swing back. Actually, it's two members that are there, so they are trying to swing back just a little further. So at least they've got reinforcement. I thought it was only stayed alone, but no, it's not the case.
There's so many cars here.
Yeah, landing, getting good to go, and all of the boys running to the one.
All right, PGG, let's see what you guys can deliver here. We talked about in the start of the day here, they're only 20 points off up to NoSlag and 5th, but then NoSlag had that big game, but some distance in between them. And have you ever seen a PGS2 Miramar game circle?
Так, що, NAVI в зоні? Немезіси теж майже в зоні. Саме найдальше в зону це Штормам, ну і хуй на них, теж болотяники смердячі. Так що, невелика потеря, якщо вони відваляться, вони вроді, якщо не помиляюся, на останньому місці. Чи хто там на останньому місці? А йошки на останньому місці, їбать! І хайве, ну. Слава Богу. Блять, кабель херовий йде.
Or you e-pick up, which I don't really like on a circle like this. With how much land there is, you're really not too far away. So probably just late here for the no slack boys.
Yeah, we'll see how they approach this one here from El Pazzo. Again, good for them to kind of start like this, being in 4th place, taking on Nemesis. Nemesis have really had a little bit.
Так, народ, всім доброго вечора, друзі. Всім вітання. А ну, хто там ще не протиснув лайкосик? Хто там ще не оформив підписочку? Той, хто це не зробив, тому штраф. Всіх радий бачити, надіюся, ви не будете розходитись, не будете тікати, а будете тільки дивитися, підписуватися і підтримувати український контент. Як можете замітити, чистимо мідь чистимо для того, щоб назбирати нарешті на довгоочікуваний комп'ютер, який покращить нам якість стрімів, якість ігор і розширить нам взагалі вибір ігор. Якщо комусь цікаво, тут в мене навіть брательник є. Так що за невеличкий смс показати вам свого брательника, якщо комусь цікаво, як він виглядає.
Michael's chance at a PNC where he's directly going up against construction workers. As I think in my book, I think T-Bone with Ascent haven't been in.
Так що так, народ. Якщо щось, тут онлайн.
T-Bone is a shoe-in.
Так що, друзі, блять, величезна вдяка вам, що завітали. Ти вийшов, так? Так вийшов. Ні, я думаю, що вийшов. Так що, народ, не встидаємось, не журимось, а пишемо коментарі, давайте будемо знайомитись. Хто новий, давайте познайомимось. Хто старий, дайтеся чути, народ. За вас піднімаю цей бокал пінного пивасика. О, народ, нас ще більше стало. Єбать, ну ви мене прям радуєте сьогодні. Дякую велике, народ. Дякую кожному, хто завітав. Не знаю, як ви мене знайшли і де ви мене побачили. Але дякую, що завітали. І знову ж кажу, не встидаємось, підписуємось, ставимо лайки, пишемо коментарі, будемо знайомитись. Комусь щось може не подобається, може написати, що не подобається, що поміняти, що... Знаєте, є такий вислів. Коли машина хуйово їде, є такий вислів, що прокладка хуйова, треба прокладку поміняти. А потім та яку нахуй прокладку? Між, блядь, сідушкою і рулем нахуй прокладку поміняти. Хто із шофера. Може хтось так напише, що, блядь, стріми заєбісь, просто, блядь, стрімер хуйовий. Що, дати ножик?
Now the rest of X
Так, що
High
така
knows
хуйня?
Jogomiro is pulling up. We see Shipless coming in from
Буду
the
тільки
back.
радий новим глядачам, новим підписникам, новим фаворитам, новим людям.
Bad prediction on exactly where he may move with that nade. But yeah,
Спитається, що роблю, чищу мідь, заробляю на комп'ютер.
any that is smoke,
Комп'ютер.
and he throws down the smoke and tries to get himself out of dodge.
Чистимо мідь, збираємо, здаємо, блядь, добуваємо золото, коротше.
Some of the higher grounds around the crate.
Ну і дивимося турік.
And
О,
locking down Graveyard.
щоб не було скучно, щоб я
We need
своїм
to
цілою своєю рожею не
decide
торгував на
first
стрімі.
one or two shifts for
Дивимося
getting
ще
a good
стрім
spot here, but they are being greedy with
турніра
it. Both
по
of them
PUBG.
pushing and locked in.
Сьогодні фінал, сьогодні будемо знати, хто виграє.
Knock on to Dante. They got struck
Хоча
yesterday.
зараз NAVI, ну, перші 110 поінтів мають.
Yeah.
Віталіті має 94, різниця в них в 16 поінтів. Але народ, не перший раз, що, блядь, за катушку 30 поінтів набрати просто як ніхуй делать. Тому така хуйня. Дечка, я прийобую тобі давати. Дальше. Бля, народ, ну чо би роз... Так було все заєбісь, я так вами радувався, так вами тішився, сердечко моє крові вливало, хоч ви тут зо мною. Пак, хуяк взялися, повиходили, ну що таке?
A big one here for other teams that's kind of coming in close to them, but Twisted Minds are somewhat far away from it. I don't know if it makes sense for Hive just to try to fully disengage. But
Ну,
Twisted
може, за того,
Minds
що дохуя прошу.
is driving in the
Я
mid
теж
back.
так думаю, не раз уже
Trying
замічав
to
таку хуйню.
close this one in and try to grab another spot around it, James. Nixie's been found though by Melman. That's a wrong
Може
one.
бути через те, що дохуя прошу.
Out early.
Всіх
It's
прошу,
a
щоб
loss of
підписалися, щоб полайкали, то сьо. А це може бути і лишнє. Так, бачимо, твісти болотяники зажимають хайвів болотяників. Блять, максимально проти болота. Максимально проти болота. Немезіс вже поступає, ну Немезіс вам кажу, топ-5, дай Бог, щоб вони зайняли топ-5. І то, шості йдуть в ВПшки. ВПшки, блять, як на мене, попіжджі, нахуй, ніж Немезіс.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good disengage here. It's not worth it to commit more to this one, especially without setup and Perfectix, as we talked about. Try to swing around, talk to a third party and close this one.
Perfect, це їбаший Гедрокс. Знову ж кажу, два болота. Ха-ха-ха, добрали. Але, сука, це, звісно, да добре, но, блядь, Віталіті то... Віталіті то, блядь, погано, коли набирають поінти, того, що вони прямі конкуренти NAVI. Я би був тут радий, якщо б поінти набирали хайви, Йошки, блядь, Піджіджі, Шторми, Гестуджішки, Хоули, от щоб вони всі набирали поінт. Бо того, що вони з нижньої частини таблиці, коли піднімаються вверх, розумієш, не так замітно, коли вони беруть топчики, блядь, там відіграють нормальну каточку, знаєш, не так сильно замітно, що вони піднялися. Ну, тому що, блядь, 30 очок і 110 очок, їбать, на мою, я вибачаюсь, на 80 поінтів, це небо і земля, закатку ніяк не назбираєш 80 поінтів. Навіть якщо ти цілий сервер розвалиш, ти не назбираєш 80 поінтів. 70 максимум. Ну, а цілий сервер розвалити, ну це, бля, я не знаю, яким треба. Що в нього?
You lose the timing into the circle and the information that you lose between the 1 to 2 to sometimes 3 minutes before the player is back in this area. You lose the crucial information that you could have had if you were close to the kill feed, to seeing and hearing where players shoot, and that's really the most essential thing you're giving up here. So let's see where Ascent does end up going here, and if Noslack can capitalize on it. They are in cars and they are kind of moving in, and you said it, you don't want to see a Cantera ending. You did cast the curse, and you got exactly what you did.
Що далі?
Yeah, we're going there, aren't we, at the moment? I wonder if Navi's actually taking
Так, а ну я поставлю на паузу.
the, Barn in the middle of the fields, which is obviously a very strong position of power here for a circle like this.
They're leaving it. Leaving it to reinforce.
Okay, they're going over towards where PGG is kind of
Ох, їбать.
too, right? This is
PGG нахуй починають пушити, блядь, Наві.
And VP spotted that. Corexi is going directly for that. That's a huge spot. That's the information that I'm talking about that Ascend is giving up by not being inside the circle. That you're able to see these two collide back into a full four-man, and Spiro does not need a weapon. He's taking Sadik down immediately, boosting.
Заєбі, Саріка забрали, поінт в кишені.
No, it's falling a little bit apart now, figuring out that obviously it's Navi that's here. And James, PGG had a great run in the last finals, but so far not been looking too good.
No, not too much. This is the problem, though. If Navi even just gets averaging points across all of the games today, they will win this tournament here.
Бля, як зробити, щоб вони були такі жорсткі?
These kinds of fights, Navi wants this at the moment. They've been able to reinforce, as you mentioned. PGG is leaving that fight as well, so Navi has been able to ward them off. And maybe even the move shots against them as they try and bail into the east side of Cantera crater proper.
Так це буде дуже жорстко.
It's not working.
Та я не хочу.
Ні,
не хочу дуже.
That's an opening onto Wildcats here. Medibay finds Lloyd Jacket, and yeah, it's down to just Presenti. A little bit of
О, на еко нормально тянеться.
to lose a player like this, but a little bit of a rough time here for PGG to start things off with. Yeah, now on sure 13th place there in this big bottom.
Типу, із-за того, що він новий, він хуйово йде. Типа, жорсткий. Чи наоборот, коли він буде вже старий, він буде хуйово йти.
Celtic could potentially land this one, but no, it's going to be going on the high position. They could try and find Presenti still. Just one alive at the moment here for PGG. It's really not worked out. As you said, final prior, not so much this one. 1 point on the board here for Presenti. Looking for a little bit more. He'll be switching.
Моє черво.
Trying to get himself knocking a flush after the back of this Panzerfaust. He's trying to think about where the steps are, because there is a world where you hit the one side of the wall, we've seen it before, and then you're able to get the complete finish off. Goes for it, yep, straight into that flush.
Так, бустик, блядь, бустик піздець розвалює, якщо чесно. Отако просто подумати, блядь, ну з бустиком, напевно, зрівняється тільки Хакіч, нахуй, я так думаю, ну, на мою думку. Бустик прям піздато розвалює. Кажу, шкода просто, що він болотяник, я вважаю його болотяним. Я не знаю, як всі решта, за всіх інших я просто не знаю інфи. А за Бустика, наскільки я знаю, він на твічі стрімить турнір. Та не то, що турнір, взагалі. Він з Рекрентом грає, хто знає Рекрента, це теж болотяний, він раніше теж в Наві грав, до речі. Ну це болотяник. Зараз даю Вань. І просто він, блядь, навіть, сука, донати збирає в рублях. Ну йобана жизнь, та ти, сука, граєш за українську команду, ти прославляєш український прапор, Україну. Нехай буде ігра, блядь, я согласен, що це ігра, не якісь змагання там, блядь, ну, по армреслінгу, хуєслінгу і тому подібне. Футбол, блядь, не, ну, що найбільш відомо. Але окей, тебе ж дивляться, блядь, ну, умовно, сотні тисяч людей за те знають. Сотні тисяч людей, якщо не мільйони. А ти, сука, прославляєш, блядь, болотом, ну йобане в рот. Ну, типу, таке собі. Я, наприклад, це не одобрю. Звісно, молодець, що розвалює, але, блядь. На. Я кажу на. Включити тобі світло може.
Definitely a bit more aggressive on what Medibay is doing here, but he is trying to completely flush out Vard, knowing that just any little extra points will help out. Nice nade, but doesn't quite shut things down. Oh, he just barely saw a shadow on there through that smoke, and actually did a little bit of damage whilst that was going on. Medibay now still being an absolute
Що є?
here in Cantera, honestly.
Чого? What ти не вмієш?
You know, inside the Cantera trade, but still, this is a decent close position. If they get an Eastern shift here, they're gonna be having a pretty good game here.
На.
Construction workers being on 62.
Хуйові кабеля, бач?
Sure, there's, you know, only 2 points up.
Вони старі переперхлі, вони хуйово чистять.
8 points up Nemesis.
Так, ну тим часом можемо бачити, нахуй. Наві набрали 3 поінта, Немезіси набрали 1 поінт. Немезісам, блядь, до Наві як не знаю кому що й до чого. Так, на ножик, мені не треба ножика, не чись зубами, ти що до бога.
I don't think he would be included. The obvious choice would be, as we talked about, with T-Bone being a shoe in here.
You talked about that delay for Ascend, and they're still like a kilometer out
Рішення не поріж.
from being able to actually get on in, and they're also taking casualties. As Chris came down, and I think was taken down by Yoga Bonita instantly, and now Keta has been.
Блядь, третя фаза вже, їбать. Як вони там ще живуть?
A little bit later, so for Ascend, just one knock, one kill going against you. Really, as you say,
Хуйові кабеля. Це останній, ні? Чи ще зелений є? Ну, зелений, я думаю, так не страждає. Да, у мене теж такий самий момент, що не журись. Мелман навалює по їмзі. Йошки зараз походу будуть відвалюватися.
Looking to pick up easy points. They are on Yo, currently 16th team on the leaderboard. And the guys have big names on this roster here. If you look at it, you would think this is a contender. This is a top 5 team. These guys have the experience. They have.
Феєріст давно по скаву. По саті давно. Їбать, Феєріст розваляє. А Феєріст на крапалях лишається. І Феєріста блядь, Ікзі добирає Феєріста. Ну, я думаю, що тут ну слакам пиздарики, бо то, що тут є всі. Бустики, хакічі, хуякічі. Так що я думаю, що... Йошки розбираються студжі. Лути є нок по двом ховлам.
Coming in, they're so split around Twisted Minds on the western side of this circle, and just looking to just try and pick anything here.
Знаєш, чого вони не так прилипають отако? Того, що коли кабель у стіні, і коли йде якась перенагрузка, коли кабеля плавляться, кабеля гріються, коли до хуя йде якийсь, наприклад... Що пробки вибивають? Бо йде перенагрузка. Розумієш? І чого вони отако? Єбать! ВПшки Курексі сам розніс ховлів. Єбануться. Коли йде перенагрузка, кабелі нагріваються, і оця обмотка... Да. Так, Спайру нокає Ковалеві. Да, із-за того вони прилипають і так хуйово чистяться. Це що йде через перенагрузка, нагрівання. Actually has to go through quite a lot of teams. Technically, they've dispatched of quite a lot of no slack and done really well with it, but at the same time, they're going to be walking alongside Cantera Crater when there's threats within the crater that kind of actually, now that I think about it, are kind of stuck in their own little fight themselves with the solos that actually are there. So for construction workers, they need to clean that up fast because the blue's going to be closing in on them, and if the solos behind them still, Феєріса таки нокнули, його ніяких вимог.
down into the crater. Oh, I'm not favoring construction workers' position.
No, it's going to be a hard time for them to get out for sure, but looking at the
Я там маленько щось почистив.
maybe Navi disengage to try to get in.
Там, де були якраз хуйові.
Stay at Nemesis, they do
Ну, тим часом не месяці всі.
they're trying to
Що,
lock down
опять?
some of this northern control. They're close to Storm under Cliff. They might have a fight with them shortly. This could
Та
be
дай
a
ножик, та
comeback.
на, я тут чекай, почекай.
Just 13
На ножик.
points and 17 points from No Slack and Twisted Mind, so it's very possible with a big game, and we know they're capable of doing that.
Yeah, pushed away in a Yo hold. Yo had to be going straight on through to where S2G is, and
Yo
now...
hold.
Yo hold.
Блять, навіть тим часом заїжджають тупо на Джого Боніту.
Just giving them the
Джого Боніту, звісно, хуй сосуть, но вони, блять, теж ніхуя собі. Так, то.
Still moving on this south side as Yoga Bonita actually might be looking this way now, realizing that Navi's moving in alongside them. But the problem is that they're still kind of concerned about Twisted Minds on their flank as well. So, yeah, for Yoga Bonita, they've got to be careful. I feel like they've got to finish a team around them soon to be able to carve out some area for themselves.
Straight onto Team Vitality.
О, блять. Навіть ще й щоб заїхати в зону, піздець, треба ще з Віртусами зникатися. Якщо вони поють через них, я думаю, що Віртуси їх, блять, заберуть, як нехуй делать.
Later game, the barn is very breachable. We could see some teams try to do that, and they can lose players. But let's see what happens.
Блять.
Ascend,
Ці кабель такий самий, сука,
GP,
паскудний.
Yoga Bonito, and even Twisted Minds here on this southwest side. It's 5 teams that eventually is going to be just one team left standing because they cannot coexist within this next circle.
The one nice thing I would
Пизда.
say for Twisted Minds is technically they could disengage from the south side, right, to be able to kind of wrap around on that west side, considering the anchor positions that Perfectix and Batulin actually has. But they could still have, you know, impact on these south teams. They can keep an eye on them as they have to try and come into the circle. Definitely. Cristialny versus Hakatori, though, as Cristialny.
Хакаторі забрали. Хакіча добрали.
And now Hakatori's completely gone.
Я казав, що вони через Жогобоніту хуй проїдуть. Бустик летить в хаєшки. А Бустик хаєшкою нокнув Кристального. І Сімона добрав. Not bad, диви, вже 7 кілів дали, блядь. Ахуєнно. Жогобоніту ще Ейсенди забирають. Але і Спайро забрали, блядь, паскудяри. Ти хуйовий? Що, глоблить? Дати тобі таблетку? Бустика добрали, Спайро добрали, коротше, Наві від'їхали. Ну нічого, 8 кілів дали, нормальок. Базу виконали. Дати тобі таблетку? Так, а що будеш мучитися, їбать? Як пол. Але хулі, таблетку з пивом. Таблетка з пивом не канає.
Gonna be received, and Storm Request and Hive is looking to get in, and that is VP out. Beam has been
І ВПшок, ВПшок вибили. Молодці, ще би, блядь, Віталіті і... Ну, Віталіті, твіси, не такі аж серйозні ці конкуренти, але теж. Добре, Ванька, на. Я йду молі дам пити.
I don't know how many more placement points he could even potentially get here, right? A lot of these teams have still got compounds, still got like dips to be able to play with, and then from there they'll be surviving for still quite a while whilst those meds are actually ticking on down. As S2G knows that Yo is in alongside them, and also knows that Construction Workers is up on the Cantera crater edge still as well. So they're still hunkered down, still good to go. Ooh, Lynx.
That's a Lynx with a 4x only. That seems scuffed. You get a 6x with that for free, and that would be an easy knock with a 6x. But yeah, the information is obviously through here for S2G, but they're going to be fighting big fights here with Construction Workers and Yo to be had just shortly. There's a Panzerfaust available too. Next circle is actually favorable to them, James, and it comes off with Twisted Minds having to make a move. Storm on Request is going to have to make a move. Hive and Nemesis is the two teams furthest away from the circle. They're going to have to decide, do we try to make a send or push towards Vitality, or do we fight Storm on Request? That's up ahead, and that's the obvious choice. That's 4 potential easy points, and then they can see how much time they have left for their further campaign.
Що навряд ли.
Yeah, the fact that Vitality somehow, some way still
Давай,
has this
тихо.
compound, still has this lockdown. The circle comes their way as well.
Так, Джогобніта теж розвалюється. Немезісі фулові. Ще й на Бердичу. Блядь, ну це їм, звісно... Я надіюся, що це їм допоможе. Мелмана їбанули. Ще й добрали, ще й болото, блядь. Обідно, но... Нічого не зробиш. Їбать. Ну це просто піздець. Тупо так по-тупому, блядь, Немезіси розвалюються. Це просто атас. Народ, просто немає слів. Як там ще той БРДМ живе, я не знаю. They've got some problems to solve here of Nemesis. Storm on Request, one of the teams a little bit lower in the lobby, giving them a really hard time. This BRDM is really their only salvation right now. As this is a great holdout so far. Стей дає нокпу. Стей забирає Ксізо. Діфікса забрали. Коротше, Стейт лишився сам. Ну, коротше, у нього тут дорога не довго. Знаю, що ж. Так, і бетеру ханарики. Ще 210-й добирає сам свого, блядь. І добирає Везувій. Єбать. Ну це хіба нормально? Найс. Стейче забирає презенті. Батулін дає нок по Роксу. Немець вже тим часом має 4 очка поінта набрали. Непогано.
Now the Hive engagement and the Twisted Minds engagement is really happening onto each other, and Vitality seems to be the biggest winners of that and the benefactors of it because they managed to survive and nobody third parties or breaches their barn.
We're currently boiling it down to a 3-horse race. If Twisted Minds can stay alive, if we get a west shift here and more nades do come down from Twisted Minds and also Vitality, as I say, still in this circle. The circle does not go west-west. Oh, another great nade coming in from Example. As Vitality's compound is still in.
Екземпл знову нокає Рокс. Забирає Рокс. На жаль. На жаль.
So much utility being committed to this final. I understand it, James, because it's 4 potential points before they either bow down to Vitality and the breach that they're about to have, or try to figure out can we play some.
Я вже продовжу останній. Я надіюся, що таких більше не буде.
Maybe a pull up on Hive, take their utility, use it onto Vitality. So let's see how they approach this. Moko does find Lu. That's a big name to take down already at this point, yeah.
I think there was probably some research shown by there for Vitality because they could
Так.
actually expended low.
Блядь, Віталіті розбирають. Тим часом, блядь, цих TWIS. І знову Віталіті оформляють поінти, наближаються до Наві. Ну, все одно в них відстань, блядь, в 11 кілів. Ну, не знаю. 21 кіл, перепрошую. Ну, 21 очко до Наві. Ну, блядь, Наві молодці дали 8 поінтів. Ну, якби дали десятку, було б взагалі чітко. Але бач, Віталіті тим часом забирає 2 перфекція Батуліна, хоча в Батуліні нокнули хайви вроді. Хайви нокнули Лу. А Сейчі живе за Бетером, Бетеру пиздаріки прийшла. Ну, але там хайви по ньому навалюють, навряд ли він виживе. Так, народ, всім вітання, всім доброго вечора. But Hive's looking to go for a little bit of backstab around the corner, seeing what they can find. Levante, though, is very aware, very keen on the idea of being able to try and hold that. Mogo goes for some shots, nothing connects. As on the other side of the circle here, SUG-шки починають сипатись. І Віталіті знову оформляють очки, блять, паскуди. Знову. Стоять нокає Данте. Надіюсь, його не доберуть. Блять, опять Віталіті добрали Данте. Спизили поінт у Немезіса. Стейда. Паскуди болотяні, блядь.
All the other teams are going to have to make moves here so that this does look like a Vitality game.
They're bumping on up. They are bumping on up. They've got the buildings to late stages as well, which actually do have a bit of an overlook on these fields. So good stuff by them. And now, S2G also have to move. Cappy moving forwards to try and get a bit of an anchor point in this circle. Very important. That could be a huge nade. Oh, it bounces a little bit.
SUG-шки піднялися, розрисалися. 4. Ну, коротше, хто лишається? Йошки. Немець, ну, зараз Стейда заберуть. Дивно, що і так його ще не забрали. Щіли починають сипатися помалу. Ту, SUG-шки. Щілу нокнули. А, сам себе. Точніше, тіммейта в'їбав. Ну, вот это парень. Вот это парень. Vitality знову оформляють поінти. Бля, як вони вже заїбали в натурі, народ. Неохота матюкатися, але просто, ну, це просто треш. Це просто те, да, все. Ще й Леванте забирає стейда. Бля, ну це просто піздець. Дякую. А я, блядь, сідаю грати, нахуй. Пап, на ПК сідаю грати. Ну, взагалі не йде мені ігра на комп'ютері. Я не знаю, ще на консолі, я ж стрімер. PUBG на консолі, на PlayStation. Ще на PlayStation нормально дають. Ну, ясен хуй, що я там не кіберспорт. Ясен хуй, що мене люба дитина, блядь, 10-річна, яка, блядь, грає більше так само, як я, блядь, буде мене розвивати. Я хоча б якийсь скіл можу показати на цьому. А на компі, блядь, це просто треш. Я не знаю, як вони, блядь, турніри виграють, блядь.
should be a big vitality
Що?
cleanup in the end up. They know that they've got S2G back.
Що тобі дивно, як я так пишу сам таке, як дебіл?
Technically, S2G
А що?
actually has quite a bit of util here. There's 4 mollies on Quetpa, alongside the fact that they have a Lynx and other things. So if
Що?
they're opening things up with a knock, Gedrox is quite far away. It's a 1-3 split for the
Так, а
most
чого?
part. Gedrox is going to be that big off angle, but they have a chance of being able to see him through some of this foliage if he actually gets
Так,
goes
йо, але, блядь,
a
ну,
bit of a
типу,
maneuver whilst the
хуйоз.
team starts pushing him from the back. This could be interesting.
На.
Alright. Sure. Vitality just wins this game. It's a big potential game for SPG here to push themselves up further
No,
on
yeah.
the leaderboard. They could put themselves on to 63 points, tying up Ascend on 8th place.
Коротше, все. Лишилися STG-шки в 2-3 проти Віталітів, які в 4. Ну, зараз Кветпу зараз знайдуть. Я думаю, що він тут довго не буде, бля, повзати, як лошара. Що? Зараз. Яка? Його мусіка. Гедрокс нокає Кветпу, я ж за що й казав. Що це таке? Ну і Віталіті виграють. Що, в принципі, я і казав, що вони виграють. На жаль. Паскуди, блядь, зібралися, їбать, вони щось роздають. Вони раніше так не грали, серйозно. Вони вже тепер, блядь, нас догнали, скоріш за все, вони тепер наздогнали Наві. Я думаю, що це вони піздець серйозні конкуренти для Наві. Ну, в принципі, по очках я так дивлюся, що Наві топ-3 мали би зайняти.
Yes, it was. What a game. Let's bring Mark back in to talk about this one overall because NAVI started off so blisteringly strong with 8 kills. And you know what? NAVI, sorry.
It's with 3 games to go.
Ooh,
Is it
hello,
now
my
time
dad.
to race
But
to
my bad.
count, Twisted Minds out now that Vitality won this last game?
What do you think, Mark?
I think it's a big decider. Twisted Minds have to step up or no.
За що це було
I'd
статистика?
even argue maybe a team nemesis, but they need a huge game. So I think they store count Twisted Minds and no slack in, but they have to win today.
All right, let's get to it then. It is going to be time to Tego, and yes, I would love to see Twisted Minds go out for this game to make it.
Так, Наві куди летять? Наві летять, блядь. Де їхня точка? Так, стійди, як усе, полетіли наліво. Наві, як усе, полетіли до Буксану, чи як, що там, де.
Nah, they've been insane. There's no denying that this is the next level for EMEA, that we have these top teams being able to kind of rock it out. And sure, Navi is a new team. Vitality with Quizzy is a new team, and they're, you know, the synergy that you have to build. But at the speed and how rapid it has been that these guys are working and becoming better and better for every game is just so impressive. And I love that. And sure, it's there are some hurdles always to come through, but for Fair is to step up to a level like this. Basically, in this PEC has becoming almost a fragging IGL, getting close to where the other guys have been as well. Hello, my bad, stepping up to this level that he's been able to as well. It's awesome, man. There's no denying that these two rosters are absolutely great.
You can see in the middle of the circle, or relatively to the east of middle of this circle.
Так, ну і зона на Наві. Найс. Немесіс теж близько. Ну, Слакам далеко, S2G-шкам далеко до зони. Ну, хай вам близько. Так що, будемо дивитися за розв'язкою. Всі, в принципі, в зоні. І всі близько до зони, навіть ті, хто поза зоною. Досяжність.
Yeah. So yes, as I say, Cristiani has had a star-making performance so far, joining some of the top ranks at the moment for Yoga Bonito, even though they might not be able to jump all the way to the top. But another one of the contenders, Martin, of course, is No Slack, who started off very strong in the previous game. I think that, you know, having full fin comms, I think that they've got
Ти що, вийшов зі стріма?
a hunger about them in terms of the performances that they've been able to put up so far. To be in 4th place as a cup team in this lobby, I think is extremely commendable.
Yeah, it's super impressive. Also being, what is it, 10 points?
Не зразу видно, бач, мене онлайн упав.
Twisted Minds at this point, right?
Так, Нікзі, Лукарукс, Бімі, Паскуда, Куріксі. Нормальні, Нікзі, взагалі топ. А там просто треба оновити.
And with how Nosak has been, even with bad circles, kind of approaching it, I really like the way they kind of strategize around their position inside the circle. They know when they don't have absolute priority into some of the good spots. They're looking for points outside in a not full Joker Bonito kind of esque way, but in a safer way where we saw one of the kind of ascent third party. So I like that priority and the way they're kind of strategizing around it. Let's see how it takes them. The sad thing is that Vitality had an absolute astounding game here. And for them to be, I think it's 33 points ahead right now. It's looking dire for Noslack. But then there's still the PGC at the end
Що
of the
хуйово
season.
опять?
That is also your end goal for 2026.
Definitely hugely important for a lot of teams in the previous years. It feels like everything has hinged around PGC. It feels like this year in 2026, there is some, because of the way in which this specific tournament works, just a huge kind of 6-month landmark compared to anything else that we've ever seen before, with EWC, Circuit 3 and Circuit 4 being really on the line alongside PNC in terms of being able to represent the country.
Ну, народ, всім величезне дякую, хто прожав цей лайк.
Qualify for that. So it's been a bit of a power shift, a bit of a dynamic shift for sure for some of these teams to have to try and work up against.
Бля, сука, що ж воно таке жорстке, Вань?
It's been excruciating. It's been really difficult to be able to rise to the occasion for it.
Діва, я вже маю все скурив за сьогодні.
Rough when you have that full finish roster for a team like Noslack that you're directly competing against each other for it. But I like, especially with the interview we had with Scab as well, they're not focused on that. They did promise each other that's not a focal point for them. Big click, that's fine. Subila here, and it's a little bit falling apart for PGG in the spot here, James. It's somewhat central south of Hosan here.
Not much has lined up for them, but I do actually think PGG is just a better team than this. We watched it in that first final.
Yeah.
Like, as much as, you know, you're not top 3, you're not top 4 or anything like that, but I think that PGG is
Я просто так курю, бо, блядь, немає що робити.
so far. It's just been quite the unfortunate tournament for them as a whole. More construction workers coming to reinforce. Can we get Nail up? It's very close. He's bleeding on out at the moment.
My
Looks like we
God.
are going to be able to last second. Holy moly.
That's a safe risk call if I've ever seen one, and Pixel always comes in to save everything. I like that. That's a good way to ensure that Nailub. And Nailub has been quite the fracture on the team here, with construction kind of coming back into it. I think.
Так, з ким ці воркери, блядь, Construction Workers? З ким вони, блядь, файтяться? З PGG? Чи з ким, я не можу поняти. Вже звалюють, блядь. Я так поняв, що з PGG, бо вони теж дими розкинули. Блядь.
The problem maybe for me is that there's not that one clear IGL voice that Gustav was from the team, and that I don't know if that was what took them an extra playoff to get into the finals.
Yeah, I think I'm curious as to what happens after this tournament, right? Do teams go through like big changes? Do we see some retirements as well? Because for some of the teams that don't qualify for EWC, Circuit 3, Circuit 4, there's not a whole lot to be playing during quite a long window. So unless some teams see themselves an opportunity towards PGC later on, we could see some big moves.
Так, народ, всім вітання, всім доброго вечора, дякую, що завітали.
PWS just concluded, PMS concluding.
Неймовірно радий вас бачити. Що там? Блять, немає я другого ножика. А що ти лізем не порізався? Я так кажу, щоб я не порізався.
PGC points on your roster and the kind of rules that are around it in terms of maximize or limiting how many players you can swap and so far in terms of keeping the PGC points you've already gotten. There's always this big roster royale with swapping ones to expand if you didn't get, you know, let's say 50 points. So it's always fun. This
Ну, один ніж, бо один на роботі.
year roster royale is not as fun as the early year where everything is just mayhem.
Нахуя тобі 20 ножиків?
Fun for us, but not so much for the players, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's the nature
Unless
of the
you're
beast,
Cristiani, James, then it's fun. The offers
Oh,
are
yes.
coming in tsunamis into your mail inbox.
Yeah, he might be top tier at this point, that's for sure. What I do find
Ха,
interesting...
єбать, я ж тепер побачу, дивись. Na'Vi 118 поінтів, Vitality 116 поінтів. Пизда, 2 очка, блядь, різниця.
Very interesting that, of course, well, spoiler alert, DM Supers doing well as always, but Geekay, obviously a name that we saw in EMEA, being able to win a regional at one point with Quizzy and the boys, picked up basically what was the remains of Bagel Power once PO and Crazy Raccoon had split on them. And they did way better than Crazy Raccoon. So, I wonder
Так,
if
по Віталіці зажим пішов від Кристального. Хуйовий.
as, Cristiano trying to get some shots off here.
Кому це, блядь?
That was, very
Гедрукс.
interesting.
Ну, Гедрукса я би виносив нахуй.
On through to the big
Ну, але вже, блядь, від Ілеванти прилітає.
Господи,
що? Нахуя?
Good, and I think Crazy Raccoon ended up in 16th, right? So it
Yes,
was
they
a
did.
Що ти робиш?
bit
Нахуя?
of a rough, situation for them.
Я не маю пакета, щоб це
Also
сюди скинути.
for PAS,
Десь
that's
треба
gonna
знайти
be
пакет.
coming
Чекай,
up
зараз принесу
finally
пакет.
after this. Curdy being the top frag. I don't know how much you've been able to check it out. I saw some of
I
the
watched the
clips.
VODs. Yep.
It's actually crazy how well he was able to do, especially with the BDMs and how he's kind of running around. It feels like the cannon fodder story is a little bit more prevalent in PAS than it has been here in PEC though.
Yeah, no, I'll actually address exactly how they addressed me on PAS, saying that I was saying it's the greatest region on earth, and then they called me a leprechaun, which is normal.
Так,
it's fine, I
ну,
said,
коротше, все, тут Сквіна, блядь, забирають.
they're on the chase, on the
Оформлять собі, блядь, вісіпойнт.
It's a door. What is that?
Не поділили між собою пойнт, виїбались. Але Саймон стріляє по перфектнісу, ну, навряд ли він його винесе.
They're being straight up punished here as we saw the big sandwich coming in with the cars confirming the knock.
Я забій хуй Ваня, я то позамітаю по пилосошу, ти що? Ти що ти гад?
The game and the strategy around your positioning is really is gonna pay off if you're into those spot here, but we have some teams.
Хрустальний, блядь, з каряком. Ніхуя собі. Що, Ванька? Я дам таблетку, ви бабли тут будуть?
Far rotations. Hive is one of them. Close to Hosan prison here.
Вони
They're
п'ють.
gonna have to get a western shift to get anything worked off of.
Ти вже допив?
Boss Laughson was like one of those yellow test dummies.
Єбать, тут щось найобано. Єбать, дивись, які тут кабелів. То мої.
Unfair and cruel and unusual. But yes, here with this circle.
Я ще до твоїх не дійшов.
Wildcats surely has some mega loot
Ну, має дохуя.
on board here. After ransacking that and now heading up north towards the eastern position towards fishing camp. And the
Ти
rest
просто
of the
малу не
team
сходив,
positioning
зараз не
themselves
плакав.
around Hosan. Where are they going to go? I think some teams actually might just straight hit Hosan. Yo is
Yeah.
positioning themselves on the north side of it at the moment.
Hosan is one of those kind of bait cities where it almost never ends in
Ну,
sight.
то чисто не кидай до того. Йо, то ми хочу звати, що ми сьогодні за ці часа на чистому. Постав, ні, постав збоку, хай буде. Потім так все докупи кину. То не йде, то я просто що за сьогодні. Блять, Спайро майже виніс Нікзі. Єбать. А Куруксі звідки випав?
There was the glider in the distance. Trying to get
Чекай, я не поняв ніхуя.
coming on in to try and shut down Navi. This, if
Єбать, що тут за двіжняк, бусик виносить бімі.
huge game at the moment, and then this could be a huge opportunity for
Бля, надіюся, вони Спайро не проїбуть.
Boosting knocks Beamy, as he's got the M249 in hand. Needs a big reload on off though. It does actually get off, so now he can keep moving forwards. Try and put on more pressure here against Virtus Pro, who in the distance.
Так, Хакіш добирає Лукарукса.
Story takes Lucaros.
А, нокає Лукарукса і добирає Лукаруса. Якщо в ВПшках що, лишився один? Нікзі. І то вони знають, де він є. І то, блядь, украли поінт Куриксі, Нікзі вар. Блядь, забрали. Ну окей, окей. Хакіш, давай, забирай, блядь, ну що ти нахуй? Блядь, якщо вони Спайро не доберуть, це буде піздець просто.
More nades forwards. What's action here? They bounce off some of that rock. Actually, that bounced perfect.
Бустика забирали.
On the rock. Oh my god.
Ай,
With
пиздарик,
a few shots
коротше.
coming in from Naileup as well here to do the big damage that's needed. Vard.
Бустика забрали.
Comes Yo with a bit of an angle.
Бустика
This
не
is crazy here, Martin.
Хакіч. Вообще, червона зона Хакіча винесла, єбать. Пизда, навіть лишилося в один. Спайро зараз доїде, блядь. Поінт доберуть нахуй. Хакіча зразу зона добрала. Єбать. А це дуже обідно, максимально обідно. Я би його рот любив.
What a game for NAVI. You know what? Could be stopping them in this one. This might be the game where Vitality strikes back and takes.
Да, Спайро дів Нікзі. Я казав, що Спайро дотече. Ну і все, і вони там лишився хто? Феєріс нахуй і нокнутий, блядь, Бустик. Феєріс навряд ли Бустика підніме, хіба, не знаю.
I think, all things considered, for that one. As Vitality, I mean, they're on the north side of Hosan here. Look at them. they're actually spread out in an okay spot for this. I imagine they'll be able to keep cars relatively okay alongside some of those walls as well. There's a world where they could even transition out of Hosan if it really kind of comes to crunch time.
Що? Що, доць?
That's an absolutely great hole that has been dug out here for Keter, trying to hold out some of the Nemesis members. And especially doing here on the top of the hills, you don't really see it until you get too close where it's too late. Next circle, pop
От
them,
викопав
it's
тобі.
containing them still inside on the top side here. SOG is looking really good for their position. Hive has to make a move again. PGG has to make moves. No Slack is also rotating in close to Nemesis, close to Ascend.
Here goes the move. What are they going to do here for Vitality? Even if they just leapfrog forwards and ahead of where Navi currently is, and then maybe even shuts them down when they actually want to move later on,
Блядь, лізь, він же
that could be
пиздарить.
huge. But SUG here got themselves an okay position. Vitality's looping around. They're actually walking into Navi here. This could be big.
Yeah, so many rotations coming off, and this, oh my god, Exhal 2. They're gonna go close to S2G. Oh, the Panzerfaust coming out too. But tries to go for it, tries to get Exile out of this one here. Vitality actually managed to get into a pretty decent spot. Off from this, but it's pretty flat, pretty open in this area here. Bushido Wildcats close to the fishing camps on the southern side of this. it's difficult to hold, but this could be a temporary home for Exile until Bushido
Ой,
Wildcats
що то з
start
мікрофоном сталося?
training
Блять,
more.
упало взагалі.
More teams also try to position themselves better inside this next circle here. So Billa does find Storm on request. Sisso is out. We saw him having
Що, Вань?
great performances yesterday. Some of the big clutches from
Чим?
him, especially on the Rondo game.
Yeah.
А що
Big
тобі?
points to come in for him too and ascend on the western side. Nemesis on the
Що?
western side, but there's so much barren
Ну що
open
все?
space in between it. And Bushido's Wildcat is trying to whack some shots towards him.
Yeah, all of these Turkish teams are running into each other constantly in these games. As Kessa actually knocking TFX over in the distance. That's over on the far west side as well.
Ну то хуйово, ні.
Opportunities to be able to have big jumps on up here from this. If they could somehow chain together a few 20-point games. Jeans! Big nade on Vard and Naylor over in the distance. That's north of Hosan at the moment. As Yo needs to be able to get on out of there, and actually construction workers are so perched up close to this position. This should be a Yo victory here.
Yeah, Yo might be able to lock this one now.
Ебать.
Get the last member, Pixel Lake in the distance there as you see it. Oh, that's a great nade. A lot of util being committed here, but they
Тобі таблетку дати?
out and grab the utility that.
Так що там, в мене є заїбав, що не треніться.
And yo, I guarantee you with Michael right now, it's like,
Так, а на того вже натурі нормально ведеш чи хуйово?
Ні,
так серйозно, що?
Behind now, if we win this one and get 2 more good games, I have a chance.
Please, boys, please.
Please help me.
We'll see. 3 games still, or 2.5 games still to go. Now, as shots here from Vitality. Was it a shot range? In here, right? S2G up on this high ground.
Блять, стейда добрали.
Rid of them.
Коротше, стейд був останнім. Діфікса добрали. Єбать.
Nemesis is also being constantly.
Чекай, ще по комусь там дають.
Caught between a rock and a hard place here with Hive and Ascend. Both
Наві лишилися вдвох. Ага, так що цього підняли бустів.
opportunities are dwindling, Martin.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit.
Дали ще їм пожити маленько. Ну, стейда добирають. Шиною заїбашили. Так що Немезіс теж вдвох. Що Наві, що Немезіс вдвох. Понятно.
Probably going to be held out by potential many here. Odin Mavesi finds a confirmation onto code Marco.
And at the same time, Slapson coming back. He is the test
Так, так.
back on in. See if any more cars go.
Так говори тут, що?
As now Bushido Wild.
Треба мала тобі вийти, щоб ти плакав.
To try and shut down the X-Howl position. Of course, Celtic, if he can find a little angle with this arm, that would be a cheeky one for sure. Oh, Schiller, hello. He's falling. And Quizzy, very much falling.
That's a big name to take down, especially with how wounded we've seen Navi become. Vitality, actually, this hill and this push from Vitality, if they are the last team to come from that northeastern side teams, it's actually not a bad play later for them, but let's see if they recoup a little bit. James is down to Simon. Celtic that find the Mad on Exile. And now it looks like this fight's going to be evolving just a little bit between Exile and Bushido Wildcats. The Turkish roster's going at it once again.
Yes, let's see him. Big nade there forwards. Mad confirmed. And then Medibay still looking for an opportunity. Medibay has been really good on Bushido Wildcats, I must say. He's really been clutching things out. And he'll continue to do so with a blue zone with another nade. Trying to find a little way on forwards here to be completely shutting down X-Howl. This has been just very clear, Cole. He takes some damage. He's blinded. They're both blinded. Oh, they're just spraying a Medibay. Lovely. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, so well done. Well executed by them. And yeah, Medibay has been great. Celtic, all of them has actually been better. I think Celtic was the second highest kills and is currently the highest kills in finals 2. The second highest kills in finals 1. So if we're looking at the performance picks that comes out of Turkey, I think it might be Code Marco and Celtic with the performance from Celtic currently. And sure, you're always saying, you know, well, let's play for the team. Let's make sure we do as well as possible. But you can't help but think that these guys think, oh, this push, this nade might give me the spot over my teammate. And PNC, what a joy it is to be at.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Kind of reason
Натурі?
with Michael, though. He's reasoning with it very nicely. Getting himself a little bit more 3
Не понял.
kills on the board. Yes, you're right. Maybe at the back of his mind, Martin. But we shouldn't dwell on it too much, of course.
Натурі?
Feed me. And obviously here for finals 2, some teams have had multiple showings. 10
Так,
teams
yeah.
has been here twice. We have 6 new teams here to come in and compete, and it's just impressive with how consistent we see the teams that come in and have a chance at it here in the finals.
Так тебе і так чути.
Workers and JB being in top 8.
Mate, Navi's all back in. Every single one of them.
Whoa!
That's crazy that they were able to get the full res on off here for NAVI to be back in. I thought they were going to be doomed in this game.
Єбать, Ферріс добрав Целтіка. Заєбісь, Наві вже нафармили нехуйов поінтів. Наві всі піднялися, їбать. Хакіч, Ферріс, Спайро, Бустік. Всі є, заєбумба, нахуй. Але Спайро опять нокнули. Да. А, зато, блядь, Ферріс нокнув Метедея, заєбумба. Добрав Метедея. Метебея, не Метедея.
No, they didn't. At the same time here, obviously, Vitality is trying to make a bit of a leapfrog forwards against S2G. They've got the mortar play once again to try and shut them down, try and lure them on.
Нормальок, нормальок, що?
Has found a lifeline to keep themselves in number one. The traction.
Зараз Хакіча піднімеше.
As Hakatori shuts down.
А, не, це Спайро. А Хакіч добрав кросберка. Заєбісь, вже 5 поінтів нафармили. Not bad, нахуй.
And I saw a mortar also being deployed. Maybe there's even some shells close to it, enough shells to maybe make a playable space up ahead of them. But Team Vitality is engaging onto S2G. If they survive this one here...
Так, Віталіті розвалюється. Це дуже добре. Заєбісь, що вони розвалюються. Це мені подобається, що вони розвалюються. Да, троє, мінус 3. Останній один лишився. Надіюся, вони не піднімуться, блядь, паскудяки. Надіюсь, вони не піднімуться. Да, Леванти заїбашують їх. Єдок, все, коротше, вони від'їжджають, да? Ні, Хеломайдет ще не пошилі навіть. Хаєшкою забрав. Єбать, ще й зараз добере, блядь. Диви, це піздець, опять же зафармив поінт. Паскудник, блядь. Та, добро, лучший, нахуй. Хакіч тим часом забрав Данти, блядь. Молодець. Молодець, набирають поінти. Ну їх уже хуй хто дожене. Ну їх 4, блядь. Вони зараз вже почнуть фармити, блядь, очки за плейсмент. Якщо вони не відійдуть, звісно. Наві вже набрали, їбать, 356 очок. І PGS, нахуй, вже навіть не Мезіси пройшли. Віталіті, твісти. Блядь, заєбісь. Ферріс ще давно по Могуру. Єбать, Наві розвалили там просто, блядь. Пізді, але Хакіча теж нокнули. Ну, якщо вони зараз його... Ні, вони його піднімають. Да, нормальок. Йошки розвалюють твісів. Заєбісь. Заєбісь, заєбісь. Бустик від зони від'їхав, лошара, блядь. Сука. 6-та фаза, блядь, ти від зони від'їжджаєш, ти що, блядь, не вмієш грати, нахуй? Бустик сам... Ай, блядь. Від'їхав від зони. Блядь, обідно, ліпше би, блядь, Спайро від'їхав.
This is interesting because if Twisted Minds falls here, this opens things up for NoSlack to be able to try and get podium. Like in just this game alone, they're still in a really good spot here at the moment. Yo, still taking fights on multiple fronts though, trying to shut down Storm on request, who does send the Panzerfaust forward. PWD dancing around a little bit, trying to delay his movements forwards with that.
Блядь, зараз хаєшку його дві шторм забере, Везувій.
Across some of these vehicles, this could be PWD down and out.
Good nade, down to 50 HP, has to go for the first out to get up to 75. Car is also exploding shortly, and he's gonna go...
Лу забирає капі, хаєшку і нокає. Шторми відвалюються. Наві вже формлять точки за плейсмент. Заєбісь. Вони знову відірвалися на 10 очок від Віталіті. Вони тебе були живіт? Так не пий більше пив, я тебе дам щось цей. Я тебе дам таблетку. Ножку, хуйошку. Так що будеш канати, якщо в мене є таблетка? Заїбав. Зараз ще Верніка приїде, Верніка, ти зараз дасть може щось. Так вона зараз буде, блядь, півгодини вже буде точно. Так, у нас сьогодні, типа, на... Та постав телефон на заряд.
This might just be the game that crowns NAVI, and to think a Hakatori knocked into killed in a red zone and they were still able to recover from the scenario.
Так, навіть трьох, ну Бустик від'їхав.
God, what a
8 поінтів.
revelation this roster has
3
become.
поінти зафармили за плейсмент.
26, being able to win PGS two
Нормально.
and now staring down the barrel of yet another win. Nate
Наше.
forwards, Lazar backs off from that one. 41 damage done to him. S2G still knows that there is
Так, навіть там знову з кимось з студжішками
on this north side.
файтяться.
Navi really want
Спайро треба срочно перейти в зону.
Yeah, this hill still
А його там контролюють лахза, блядь. Коротше, Спайро від'їжджає, на жаль.
Lazar's trying to hold on Spear.
Ніхто ніякий хуй йому не поможе.
Stay here. Just gonna try to get the point and confirmation. Good damage though. He has to get in and get
Да.
out. Oh, that's another good nade. That's actually gonna go.
Воу! Єбать, Спайро видав базу, просто тупо, блядь. Лучший нахуй. Але, на жаль, доїли. Ну, під GG. Ну, під GG. Так, під GG. 10 поінт, 131 поінт, блядь, нормально, молодці, молодці. Я, коротше, за Наві, я так поняв, що Наві... Пару тисяч бациликів будуть мати. Хуйово, що на Медзісі від'їжджають 5, 77, їм у них, блядь, 8 очок від ВПшок.
Yeah, they could with just 11 more points jump up into to 6
Наві собі гарантують нехуйовий такий відрив.
This is your chance.
Вони вдвох. Ага, бустик і Спайр відділи, да, вони вдвох лишилися. І щось я їх не наблюдаю в зоні.
Likely with vitality
А, вони там, коротше, їм пизда. Все, вони зараз тупо по відкритому полі, їм прийдеться бігти.
and also trying to push themselves
Я
just
так
that
розумію, що
further
Наві
up.
від'їжджають.
Maybe if a miracle happens, they could push themselves deeper as well in this game. 11 points up to Nemesis as well.
What a wild Tego. I really just did not expect this to go the way it has, especially considering the
it's been
Navi
insane.
recovery. And now no slack here, staring down yet another potential victory to try and catch on up. But Twisted Mind still survives. Twisted Minds has a little bit of an angle on the position there.
А, диви, що робиться. Есендю розбирають, Батулін там добирає собі хак. Феріс нокає. Хакіча теж, на жаль, нокнули. Феріса, які від'їжджають гранаткою. Ну і все, от і Наві від'їхали. Ну, похуй, все, 10 очок дали. Базу з собою взяли. Відрив мають непоганий. 117, рахуй 3. 13, 15 очок. Нормально, нормально. Я думаю, що вони з топ-2 точно вийдуть. З топ-2 вони гарантія, що вийдуть. Хіба зараз би... Хіба не знаю. Хіба зараз TWIS візьмуть топ. То тоді може щось помінятися. А так, я думаю, що Наві би мали взяти топ-1, топ-2. Головне, щоб TWIS не взяли топ. Все інше — хуйня. Навіть якщо TWIS маленько підфармлять собі, блядь, поінтів, то хуйня, по того, що, ну, блядь, за перше місце тут по 10 очок. Це так то непогано.
Also slow and steady. They've got such a field that they have to run through. I feel like they're going to be the next casualty here. The smokes have already gone down. Seeing what they can get done with it. So now they're going to be sending it through with the cars as well. Already a little bit of a spray through some of that smoke here. But Salik, oh, unfortunate for Scav. His gun pushes up against the car, so he doesn't quite get some of those bullets off.
They've got a great position. If they get another shift on the southern side here, Jim, surely it's no slack to win another game. It could be them pushing themselves into the triple digits, joining Twisted.
Ейсенди вдвох, піджіджі в 4, ноуслеків 4. Блядь, ну ти знаєш, якщо ж зараз ноуслеки візьмуть топ, ну вони теж увірвуться в топ-3, так, то, блядь.
Another circle to come their way. It's decent.
Я думаю,
Not
що
fully on their side, but still, it sets them up for a potential really good late game. Twist Mind has to move, PG has to move, Ascent has to move. The only team inside still with cover is no slack.
Yep. Let's see indeed. Now,
Тобі сам треба в зону їхати.
looking for an opportunity. This could be big for them as well.
Ну, піджіджі непогано тримаються теж, вони біля зони.
Chance that they can make a bit of
Ну, бач, ноуслеки вже в зоні, так що я думаю, що цей... А, єбать, Батулін гаєшку загрузив тупо двох нокнув з ноуслеків, єбать. Пизда, ну я тобі кажу, якщо зараз TWIS візьмуть топ, це просто буде піздос. Вони вже диви нафармили 7 поінтів за цей матч. Да, ну і я так розумію, що TWIS беруть топ. Я так розумію.
Get a fourth place, get 2 kills, that's 6 points for them rather than going out early. PGG now, the only team with effectively 4 guys alive, even though Subila is knocked. Let's see how they approach this late game with Selek having a Orc and a Panzerfaust. He could engage onto Twisted Minds if they don't scout him out early.
Oh, it's a moment of reprieve here in this game, considering what we've witnessed just before. Slow Jacket and the boys.
Але підійдж, в принципі, 4. Так що ж лучше, тут ще 50-50, народ. А ще 2 каточки в запасі.
42 damage apiece here. Batulin's just found a P90. Oh my days.
That's disgusting. And a full 3 gear. He's almost broken TWIS. You go from 40 to 20% damage reduction now. Blue zone incoming in. He's going to have to use a lot of his jammer pack durability and then pop a first aid. It's going to be possible since it's only...
Блять, опять довгий, сука, як я не хочу це довго чистити.
Him being delayed, him having to focus on that rather than focus on putting out damage and positioning himself against PGG. If Noslack plays this perfectly and pays a lot of attention towards this fight here, they might third party in a perfect timing to get both these teams knocked out.
Блять, це пиздець довго. Трейти по... Трейти по цей. Окей, я поставлю на паузу. Зараз. Секунду. Я йду по цей. Який? Добре, ножик є. Давайте поміняємо лезвие, блядь. Давайте поміняємо. Так, Батулін від'їжджає, слава Богу, Богу дякувати. І лишається в нас 101 екземпл і лу лишається. Батуліна добрали. Хаєшка перелетіла, значить піджіжі ще ціль. Може ще зараз зубілу піднімуть. А, зубілі пизда. Екземплу. Капзда. Ну і добре, добре, добре. Добре, що вони помалу розвалюються.
Area that Sata has locked down, and now they're full 3-man here. Can he 1v3? Can he make the dream happen? He finds Percenti. Does he have more? Yes, finds one.
Ну, слаки від'їхали. Лишається один салюк під GG і твістів двоє, блядь.
Surely Twisted Minds pushes on this. Surely they know exactly what is at stake here, and actually they do go for the spray on the right hand side.
Оце паскудство. Твісти виграли. Блядь. Оце пічовіна, пічовінська. Це погано, що твісти виграли. Дуже погано, що вони виграли. Народ, всім доброго вечора, всім вітання. Дуже погано.
What a crash test, Hubby. We asked for Twisted Minds and No Slack to step up and have a big game here, right, before we move into that kind of penultimate. Both of them did, but we can't take away the fact that NAVI refused to go down. Late to zone, got the recall, delivered, I think, 11 kills as well. They just continue to put points on the board. Great game at the end.
Sending. It's going to be Eminem, minor mark here to bring you our penultimate game.
Thank you very much. This is the penultimate game, and
Що
it's
воняв?
a northeast down to a...
Блядь, я маю типу плоскогубці, йоп твою мать.
Rondo. Most teams will have their primary spots. A couple will have to extend a little bit more, grab those cars and move to either a secondary or extend to their normal drop spot. But it does, I suppose, ask the question here, Martin, who wants to get close to their rivals and potentially take on an early fight?
That is the most important question mark, and I don't think anyone will be able to answer that until we see it happening. And again, with how everything has been coming on of Rondo, we've had some absolutely banger matches, and I really like how Rondo's terrain, and even more so with Tego's terrain, how it's really shaping up with how it's being played and how the terrain is being worked on as well. We saw it very prevalent yesterday, Mark, and the question is it going to be as prevalent today?
Все, я вернувся.
Ish plain path, but next level here, it's going to be crucial.
Так, Спайр. Оу.
You asked for this yesterday.
Оце так зона, блядь. І тепер думаю, чи воно зійдеться на ядину, чи воно зійдеться на ту лінк, блядь. Я думаю, моя ставка така, що воно зійдеться на там, де... Ну, коротше, ближче до цього. Між туліном і тим мостом. Десь туди воно піде. Моя така ставочка. Бустик, може, Бустик нарешті причесався, блядь. У Спайру постійно, коли б він не грав, у Спайру постійно день. Спайру, коли б він не грав, у будь-який час, в будь-який день, в будь-яку сутку, блядь, в нього постійно день, хую знає, де він живе. Так, показують нам Віталіті, блядь. Бомжари, блядь. Болотяни.
To go in and kind of guarantee themselves the spot. They've been looking good, but they need to go up and mingle with the very top here. No Slack being ahead of them is not a problem right now, but if they fall too much further, if No Slack kind of continues their campaign here, there is just 12 points down to 10th place here, and that would be an absolute disaster for Nemesis, so they need big points.
I see big points. Interesting to see if production can get the other half of the G-coin codes on the signs, on the billboards. That'd be,
Ще одна катка, народ. Ця і ще одна катка, і ми будемо знати, хто нарешті переміг цьому протистоянні, блядь, цій битві. За чекушку, блядь, так.
I think they're going to burn a bit of time, maybe hope that a lot of teams will centralize up here with the amount of water. And interesting as well that Team Nemesis have gone for a 2-2 split, so they are dividing the water as they look to try and hold down to this hard compound.
Хто? Я? Та і без завтра на роботу зрані вставати.
here. A lot of teams trying to send it in early, trying to get some of those high priority positions. Mark, it's going to be crucial. Question is, does the teams get too greedy and trying to hold on to multiple locations, considering how much water is still in place? Sure, it should be a southwest split. It should be, you know, maybe some water in, but it should go, excuse me, to the Danjing side of things. But I am hoping.
Таке на Твічі зараз іде рестрім. На Твічі зараз іде рестрім.
Just to put that graphic in context, guys. So for No Slack, obviously, it's not a case of chasing on
PG.
right? They've got to beat Vitality in order to get the
Зараз Ютуб. Я Твіч не дивлюся.
to get qualified in. But obviously, with Nemesis dropping down, to open up the opportunity for them
Не
to
онлайн.
more.
Ніхто не
At
дивиться.
this point, Marcel, you counting them out of the race? Is that gap between 92 and 113 just too much?
Що забув?
Yes, the big one for me was the Nemesis
таке
drop,
є щось.
Yeah.
right? Because there's 69, 69, 66, 66, 65.
Не дивлюся, не дивлюся. Я не
Tier for
переживаю.
Nemesis to drop down like
Рано
that,
чи пізно
Yeah.
прийдуть.
that would be Nemesis losing their slot to No Slack for PGS potentially.
Yeah, this is again it's a moving target.
Yeah.
But it is the penultimate game, so Nemesis just need to keep the opportunity up, need to keep the
Що?
I suppose the consistency. But I felt like
Ну, а що тобі є? Що тобі іменно болить?
and 100% yesterday, just unable to find an opening to late game. They're getting thereabouts, they're getting closed out, they're chasing circles, and when they chase fights, they get underpinned one at a time.
VP, some potential shots here at a Jogo Benito that loves to fight early game, and there you go, get some fights in, have a fight with B.
Так, Віртуси набирати. Шок, ну за Віртус. Я не переживаю. Я більше переживаю за те, щоб,
To come their way.
блядь, Віталіті і Твіси не набирали поінтів. От за це я найбільше сьогодні топлю.
And more, the meta of, you know, the Piranhas
Щоб вони не наздоганяли Наві і щоб вони не переганяли Наві.
trying to see if they can
Це
squeeze
все,
out an easy kill.
за що я сьогодні найбільше
Feast.
топлю.
Just one target would be quick for them. And we'll see how the kind of evolves throughout here, but look at how congested it is east of Danjing already on the west side of the riverbank.
It is going to be congested. A lot of teams, obviously, with the expectation that he's going to play on the west side. Nemesis have collapsed their two teams. Move into Jaina City. I will say I've had quite a few circles above north side. You've got those compounds that just sits on the outside, and then it's got that high ground actually where we saw the 9th anniversary stuff sort of appear. So no surprise that actually Team Yo are holding the east at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see how that evolves.
Так, опа, ось зараз буде заруба, серйозно, блядь.
Here they need points. Both teams does. That's an easy pick here, but Quincy wins the one. Nixie falls and Beamy finds Quincy.
Візі нокає
Through the front door here, Levante.
Ніксі, а Бімі нокає Квізі, блядь.
Finds Nixie, goes tit for tat. Now Levante backs off slightly though, as the pressure's been applied.
Ну я за те, щоб Віталіті від'їхали.
VP, Beamy
Так що я зараз ставлю на Віртусів, на.
fall down, and Beamy does get Levante, so we go round.
Да, одного нокнули, два нока, все, є, найс.
Easy point.
Просто заєбумба.
Is out here in 16th place and 5 quick points for VP.
Дівкс ще нокає у Карукса, їбануть. Лишається один Бімі, але зараз підніме Куриксі, так що... Хер його знає, сосед вже підходить, Діфікс теж там щось бачу. Селяє, блядь, їх.
It's like we saw from the last game. These big names going in the kill feeds instantly it draws attention from the Sharks, as you said, the Piranhas around the outside. Jogo Benito down to a solo. The tree diverts and saves the construction work. The high ground though for Slavin does get a confirmation on towards Fex, looks for some more utility and picks up 2 grenades. Able to launch one forward though that will avoid the tree, but it is a 2 versus 1. He needs a knock. I think he's going to get it with that second grenade.
Slavin gets nailed up here, Mark, and that's crucial opening here. So it's not a priority fight, but it's the early fights that we've been talking about that could be going on easily, but it's just a single player for Jogo Benito, knowing it is what it is for construction.
Кілограм є? Що, заєбісь?
Quite a bit of a distance.
Я за той стрімчик начислю 2,2.
Across here, he is making a move. Pixel is going to stick.
Тобі так
with
видно,
it.
що
It's
там
got
поле.
time in it. It's going to allow them to get a repeat here. Stavino tries to go for the coverage. On the other side, does make his way round to get the pitch though, and the grenade preempted. And Jogo Benito again, another team to fall, and it's quite early on.
Так, Джокомуніта теж відвалюється, алло.
But we'll be able to get up and get some rests off this one here.
Так візьми 2-3 пачки.
Jogo Benito out, and this place here
Ну,
means
молодець.
that the catch up from Bushido Wildcat and PGG
так.
could push Jogo Benito even further down. And again, sure, there's no PGS or Esports World Cup slots up for grabs right now, but in the long game and in your potential fight for the PGC at the end of the year, important points, because the difference from 8th place is 30 down to 11th is 15th. So it is huge PGC points that's being had, as it kind of doubles all the way up here quickly with a few placements.
Yeah, it does. Ascend, go for the wider rotation. Normal Ascend style is Chris is in the glider, so be able to find lots of information. Team Yo have spread out ahead of them, so they should be able to pick up the glider first. Unfortunately for Ascend, they're going right in towards the trap that's in the middle. Nice, Michael. Just tries to launch a couple of shots towards it's Chris, maybe keeping the team closer together.
Скільки?
Activity taps towards the distance and then over to copy.
Ра-та-та-та, бля.
Driving close to Ascend here. This kind of area that we have
Та ну нахуй.
with how Argentina City is evolving. These two teams betting on this big shift. The problem is though, Mark, with how the river is and the center of the dot not really being technically available to be in the center of the river here. We would need a really hard northern or eastern shift for this to be possible, and it's a very unlikely. But where we end up here is going to be determined in the next couple of circles.
Так. Ну і що, зона на кого? Єбать, але там перші були Немезіси. Немезіси лошари взяли і сібалися звідти. Єбать, обідно. Це дуже обідно.
Yeah, this is a big fight for Ascend here. They're pushing their campaign to jump up a few spots on the leaderboard. Our mid-pack is so close here, Mark. Points to be had in between just 8th to 6th, 5th place is massive difference.
Твістів, да, ви розвалюєте твістів, нахуй розвалюйте їх просто.
Twisted Minds, guys, as they rotate, I guess, technically, through the first.
Нікому не цікаво дивитися, ніхто не цікаво. Хтось один сидить, дивиться, а не пише. Ну. Величезне дякую, що ти сидиш і дивишся, але... Братан, якщо ти можеш написати, буду дуже вдячний за бодай якусь... Бодай за якусь активність. Що? Ні, пан Роман, коли заходить, він зразу вітається, пише. Він дуже активний. Це мій продюсер, так то їбать. Я його не знаю. Я його не знаю. Та от так само від Юрчика прийшов. От як якось і познайомились. Так, знову, блядь, твіси не рвалися на Віртусів. Ну, я чесно, я дуже сильно надіюся, що Віртуси їх зараз розвалять. Просто всі ставки на Віртусів. Це, напевно, перший раз, коли я, блядь... Да, диви, -2. Бомба. Це, напевно, перший раз, коли я, блядь, за Віртусів, нахуй. Віталіті від'їхали, Віртуси від'їхали. Ну і все, більше вже, по суті, нема що переживати.
Potentially here, more utility being committed from example. This could be a good nade onto the corner of where BP is. Example fights 24 damage on Batulins. Yeah. That was a little bit weird. It was, it bounced off weird.
Так, зараз ще коли Батуліна, блядь, курикся побачив, він його по-любому побачив. Блядь, диви, що робить паскудяра. Да, є. Нік зі ноком Батуліна, лишився один екземпл. Ну, коротко, тут екземпл мешти.
Works his way back. Example does have the flash. He tries to hear the footsteps going through. The smoke will provide some cover, but not for long. Again, these are the last two teams now on that west side. Does see the arm peek out from Correxy, and he now is getting information though. He's coming, as I said before,
Це лезві якісь хуйові, ну. Сука, я завтра з роботи візьму пачку лезві. Чи екземпл ще працює Нікзі, йоп твою мать. Нахуй, самбо.
And the hunt is on here, no slack. If you can make a dream run and catch up to Twisted Minds for a podium, that'll be insane.
That is insane. because we look at coming into today, and Virtus Pro obviously up to from 8th. They're now jumping up again. They're up into 5th, 9 kills. They are down some bodies. They have the opportunity because we are ready. Phase 2 to go get the recall.
Так, Наві вже переїхали, Немезі теж, але зараз Немезі будуть файтися за студішками, блядь, народ. Так, то, ніхуя собі.
Mark, if Noslax get 3rd and Nemesis gets 7th,
Сука, не можу зламити лізі.
if Noslax gets 4th,
В натурі,
and Nemesis
нахуй,
gets
їбайте
8th,
голова.
Noslax is in. That's the premises we need to see here from them. I feel like it's going to be rough for them to catch up.
Ракета.
All the way up to Vitality here with the lead that they've already built, but that's the other premise we need to see from them. And look how close Ascend is, 69. Look how close Construction Workers is, 69. Diogo Benitez
Ракета Пікарда.
68 points, but a PGG as well. Like that's two decent games from these teams that's chasing, and a choke basically from Nemesis would put their position in jeopardy.
That could be catastrophic for
Catastrophic?
them. Yeah, not catastrophic.
I like that.
That's coming.
I like that.
We'll wait and see. Ascend still control them. They got the compound. The UAV is above. No slack. Crucial to find another good game here as they kind of eke their way from the south side in towards zone. They do have a hole, so that's obviously a little bit further in. So a 2-2 split might work out for them. How many bodies do they commit a little bit further towards that zone?
Блядь. Що там Наві ніхуя не роблять, ніхуя не рухаються, нічого, блядь, не предприймають. Заїбали вони, блядь. У Спайро п'ятерок нема, блядь, з чим він думає грати, їбать його в рот.
But now it's just for the teams that's rotating in slowly through it. There's still a recall station in Jadina City that's being somewhat overlooked by No Slack, but they do have a pretty good position inside this. I actually recently had a game that ended on the northern side here of Jadina City, and the way that the terrain kind of works out,
Скільки ж буду стрімити? Блядь,
kind of get in
годину.
a lot of
Може навіть.
control unless you have the areas that Yo and Ascend is
Ти
locking
будеш
down
їхати
right
домів, чи будеш що? Які плани в тебе?
Let's see if they can lock those down. Hive gets confirmation towards Code Marco. Bushido Wildcats, who were working their way towards the northeast corner, have to back away. They're going to now reinforce their compound. They'll be down to 3. S2G still waiting kind of for VP to come across the bridge as they whistled on past when the fight was happening. VP, they are going back to go get the recalls, but they have to go back west, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. And now with Sheila being off close here, we've seen a lot of engagement between these two rosters here. It's almost like they have a lot of the same thought process, and it's not good to run into each other all the time here, but it's good maybe for the synergy to be built for PNC, that the players and rosters are thinking kind of alike. But with this next pop here, it's gonna decide quite a lot. And look at that, Mark. Storm and Request is laughing, but that's a very pullable compound here. Navi could come in and interfere with that. Nemesis looking good here, and they need a decent game to ensure and hold on to that top spot so they lock down their esports World Cup slot potentially with PGS as well.
Timing might have worked out for VP is because Construction Workers looking to leave the south side over the heads of them.
6-15 метро. Воу, Хакіч виніс, їбать, зараз бустик буде приймати тут. Їбать, Хакіч розвалює, блядь. Лучший, їбать, диви, нахуй, тупо Наві всіх. Блядь, і Везувій ще спиздив кіл. Паскудяра, паскудна.
Them alive, 3 kills already. The second and third place being eliminated already, and the closest contender being more than 35 points away. It's gonna make it, or even 40 points plus away. It's gonna make it extremely difficult.
Воу, їбать, там стейт розвалює. Уже 2 нока дав. По ноуслекам.
Once again here, both in the regional for the spring and also once in our PGS series. That's insane. The new Navi is on an absolute championship level at this point.
They are. Big knocks though in the kill feed. Team Nemesis do find 2 for a no slack.
А 9% зі батареї, так?
Can they get those grenades down and get a confirmation? They have the compound, they have the trenches on the outside, but unable to find those confirmations. So
Це батареї,
they
так?
should be able to get, I suppose, those bodies back up. But for Nemesis, they have a target now and an opportunity that if they can take advantage, they find actually taking their position or locking their position, shall I say, to PGS.
All right, so much fights about to happen on this southern and eastern side.
Понял, Ванька,
Here,
принял,
almost
Ванька.
like S2G, PGG and Ascent being basically in the same small area south of this road here. S2G now lurking in the waters. I actually got a playable road here for them. Nabled finds Beamy.
Є таке.
As Nemesis pounds out some more damage.
Є
to
таке
Wolves.
діло.
These guys trying to transfer themselves into. Oh, PGG with a BRDM. Oh, that's not something you want to pull
То
off.
заєбісь, Ваня, то заєбісь, я радуюся тому, що ти живий, здоровий, і тому, що Наві робить відрив, непоганий відрив. Якщо вони ще не запорять цю катку і не запорять наступну, якщо вони цю катку, бодай зафармлять 5 поінтів, це буде заєбісь. І наступну катку бодай 5 поінтів. Взагалі їм ціни просто. Ой, бля, ці кадри будуть хуйові. Єбать, що тут робиться, нахуй?
Oh my god, PGG just farming with the BRDMs here.
PGG тут зафармило поінтів, їбать його в рот.
And that's gonna lock them down in 11th place currently now with the Yo fight here happening with Construction Workers. Construction Workers had a really good game so far. VP as well with the 6 and a 9
Зараз
kills.
зімну 10
Puts
років.
them onto another point here. Fix finds Fix and Nail it.
Так вони там хуйня помити лише не ресторанчик. Так, Construction Worker розібрали.
So for Yo, they will get rid of Construction Workers. They are 4 points to get away from that sort of bottom.
Та ні, то він хуйовий, Ваня, чекай, бо то бачиш. Він якийсь, блядь, хуєватий. А шторми зараз Наві будуть штурмити, блядь. Паскуди, паскудні. А я, народ, мушу відійти до малої. Минутку. Почую, вже там подає якісь звуки тривоги.
And this compound, sure, it's in for some while here, but we might not end up here.
It's hard to defend though. This compound.
Добре, зараз я, народ, прийду.
They're opting to go on the outside up. But I think they've got a limited amount of time. Don't go up there now. They're gonna have to run through the middle, and it's all about timing.
I kind of like that they're going 2 and 2, both from the outside and inside. So their angle of
Давай
attack is
сюда.
smart here. Taking the rooftop control is potentially gonna get them more kills as well. Let's see what happens here with PGG already locking down some.
Блядь, тут зараз Наві буде не солодко, мені так щось здається. Мені щось так здається, що зараз Наві буде відлітати.
Yeah. Try and reload it now. He's got the opportunity. Swaps back towards the org. Now.
Щось мені так здається, народ.
Knows exactly where he's targeting. With Hive sitting on the outside, he's zeroed it in. Just needs to kind of give it a bit of a barrage. So they can't dodge it. The problem that he's got is that Hive just have no pressure, so they can just keep their eyes on
Та впізнаю, але, блядь, за порнографію. О, Іван?
Hive repositioning here. They're just trying to survive for as long as possible. Sata goes down for no slack here. Nemesis with State finding it. They've been a little bit proactive getting out of this compound here now. And James finds it, steals it away from Nemesis. Only gotten one kill so far. And VP's actually tied them up here. With the VP still having one man alive and trying to heal out of it. Now James is aggressively pushing on to no slack's position here.
Блядь. Зараз хай будуть дроп лутати. Немезісі всі живі. А, ні, хуй там. А, ні, всі живі, да, це новслаки від'їхали. Біля Кая нокають, забирають. Хакіч нокає. Ксізо. Not bad. Надіюся, його ніхто не добере. Блядь, везу він нокає бустіка, сука, паскуда. Хакіч добирає Ксізо. Це вже плюс поінт. Нормальок.
They're on one kill and they can continue to see No Slack racking those kills up. They've just gone through and got rid of Team Yo. That's why we're seeing a 2-2 split. IXE looking his way back. Melbourne has to duck towards cover. Good enough for, I suppose, Team Nemesis to have some of the zone, and that maybe that's why we're seeing the team getting called back.
Так, Немезіси приїжджають в зону. А де, блядь, де дівся ще один цей болотяник паскудний, блядь? Тібон теж сам, ага, ні, Тібон і Кетер. Вони вдвох, я так розумію, да, вони вдвох. Я не можу поняти, де дівся болотяник, блядь. Його в зоні щось не наблюдаю, за зоною теж щось не бачу. Там бачу піджіжджі, там Немезіси, тут ці двоє сидять. Ну, слеків трьох лишилось.
As he gave it a good go. The double shield. Hankatori zeroes in on it. They have taken the roof. They have taken the opportunity. Storm request.
Наві поки що в зоні, ну зараз зона зійдеться. Зараз будемо бачити, чи вони ще в зоні, чи ні. Єбать, кетерів рознесли. Кетери самі себе рознесли, їбанутися. Візь мене там пиво, якщо є, то його, щоб не розлив його. Щоб воно не вонялося.
Not what I expected to happen with the double Pentafaust, but that's the collateral that can happen. Hakatari now takes a little bit of an aggressive step. Maybe tries to, is it PGG he's going for? Is it? Oh, it's actually not even. It's Ascend and their opposition. I don't think he realized that they're actually out completely.
Блядь, бустика, стейт нокає бустика. Але бустика зараз піднімуть, все нормально, вони тут сейвах. Так що, все нормальок. But they have started to giving up on it a little bit.
The biggest win here is going to be from Team Nemesis, right? If they just need to try and stay alive, they need to keep that double BRDM at bay. Like they just need to eke out the zone. They're going to need a little bit of zone luck. They need to play out the compound and come down towards the south, but we'll find that in 40 seconds. Hive look for more of a centralized spot as well, so they move in, trying to hold out the compound. For everyone else, it's NAVI, but at this point, with 130 points, still on the high ground, just leave them be.
All right. Let's see how they get this approach here with this one. I actually like Hive's play here to be a little bit more split out, to lessen the threat of mortars, of nades and everything. They still hold on to that northeastern side here. Celtic has gotten in, still alive. Trying to squeeze out more points.
То ли лезвие погано, то ли кабель хуёвый, я не можу поняти. Блядь, лезвие якесь хуёвий. Так, Наві 4. Не молодці, вони вже починають фармити. То доціку нема ще мами. Нема, мама зараз прийде. Я казав, блядь. Карінка, нема мами. Зараз мама прийде, почекай, доцю, ще трошки. Нема ще, мама ще на роботі. Зараз мама прийде, почекай. Так, блядь. Єбать, я проїбав все на світі.
He's looking at Hive. Meanwhile, he's getting attacked on the other side here. Spirit comes into the Panther House. Can they close this fight down?
Нахуй, Спайро. І себе нокнув, і Везувія нокнув. Ну, молодець. Хулі. І сам не гам, чужому не дам. І то зі Спайро ще й добрав. Везувія. Плюс поінт. Заєбісь.
Should have Wildcats again making a little bit of an attempt to dash their way up the leaderboard. Ferris though now has to try and dodge an aid. He has come back as the grenade.
Блядь, але Хакіч нокнутий, сука. Ага, але добре. Спайро зараз будуть піднімати. А Хакіча не знаю, чи піднімуть.
Looking at that fourth place that Noslack is locked in and they want to get it. It's 15 points up to them, but there's some kills to be had and still a lot of placement points. 7 more from fifth place to that first.
Да, не піднялися, розрізалися Наві. Заєбісь.
They could get into the 90s, maybe even contest Noslack towards that last game. But she will Cal out in fifth place. And now Ferris and Navi on that northern side. Hive on the east side, but PGG also trying to get in and engage onto this Hive position here. It's going to be difficult for them to survive this one.
І Наві що ти тепер у зоні, бля, їбать. Наві 4, Немезісів 4, Хайви в одному, PGG лишаються вдвох. Коротше, тут зараз буде схватка між Наві і Немезісами. Ну, нормальок. Особисто я за те, щоб Немезіси виграли. Діфікса нокає, Діфікса ж і забирають. Так що, коротше, великі шанси в те, що Наві візьмуть цю катку. Якщо Наві беруть цю катку, це гарантірований топ-1. Сусід забирає нокає Зубілу. Сусід забирає Зубілу. Ну, а Немезіси, якщо вони наступну катку відіграють плюс-мінус нормально, вони ще можуть собі гарантувати топ-5. В принципі, чисто теоретично, фактично, практично. Тоже not bad. Тоже not bad. Топ-5. Вже не топ-20, а топ-15. Ну, а Йошки будуть на останньому місці. Ну і хуй на них. Віртуси нарешті суснули. Ну, твісти ще, блядь, тримаються паскудяки. Наві вже займають центри зони, блядь. Коротше, Наві тут взагалі взяли всіх, блядь. Просто нагинають всіх, блядь.
To push themselves further up about it. We talked about it. Yeah, they've not had a good one. They've been and you know what? The mid pack has been so close that with a few good games for PGG, they pushed themselves straight into 6th place. A better placement than they had last finals. Ferris might be able to find Slaughter Jacket though with his oh, 32 damage. Great damage.
Блядь, сусід нокає Спайру, ну сука, паскудяра, блядь. Мелман забирає Слой Джека. Але Наві розрізались, Бусик нокає сусіда. Правильно, хуй тобі в рот. Хуй тобі в рот. Паскудище. Хакер забирає Мелмана, блядь. Забирають Стейда. Ні, сусіда, але Стейд забирає Феєріста. Мелман нокнутий, лишається один Стейд, Стейд загружає їм якийсь, блядь. Єбать там Стейд нагружає, блядь, всяку утілу. Стейд нокає Спайро, блядь. Хакіча, їбать його в рот. 1-1 лишається. Коротше, Бустик проти Стейда. Блядь, народ, хто кого? Бустик чи Стейд? Бустик чи Стейд, народ? Короче, Стейд заспотився за дерево. Бустик робить хуйню, ставить на ух X4, блядь.
I think State has the slightest advantage. I think Boostik's going to be pushed off this column
just a
little
Блядь.
bit later, but he does have a blue zone backpack. That's 100 damage back up. He's 97 HP.
У Стейда нема патронів. У Стейда нема, блядь, бустів.
And State has nothing. And 75,
У Стейд на
so
75%, бустик майже на сотку.
Boostic should
Все,
clutch
бустик
this
на
one out
сотку.
for Navi and lock down and cement
В нього ще є, блядь, флешка. Зона. Блядь, та є зона, яку ти хуй не кинеш зону, придурочне.
Build himself up, but that's not going to give him the advantage. No wins when it comes down to boosts. No utility for Team Nemesis. And they're going up against the big dogs. Here comes the flash, maybe trying to bait the move, has caught the move and actually lost him out. He actually gets an idea that he's actually made a new position. Now he's moved his position out, so their advantage goes back towards Navi, closer towards the dot. Steed, though, for Team Nemesis, doesn't have the opportunity to get a flash out and make the charge forward. And for Navi, they just have to sit tight and wait.
I love this fight between these two.
Блядь, але ж ти маєш зону.
Shots come in though, State pushes, has to come out and the cover.
Є, Наві, є.
Navi to take another chicken dinner here at PEC Spring Mag. It's match 14 and it's them to lock this one down. And oh my, what a game to win here, James, as we bring you back in.
Наві тупо красавці.
Are going to be crowning themselves the champions here of the second finals. That is
Наві тупо
spectacular stuff from them. I was saying before this game, Mark, as well, like they hadn't won any of the games today, but they were just constantly racking up the points, keeping themselves ahead, and in the end, as much as Virtus.pro decided, you know what, we're going to try and take out Twisted Minds, we're going to try and take out Vitality and everything like that, and they did.
Наві тупо красавці.
Navi just continued to prevail.
Нарешті вони показали свою нормальну, хуєнну ігру. Нарешті. От просто нарешті. Ти знаєш, це так як той прикол. Я так ждав, і нарешті дождався, блядь. Я так само і то, блядь. Я так чекав, коли Наві нарешті, блядь, почне розвалювати. І Наві нарешті почало розвалювати. І Наві нарешті почало розвалювати.
Like actually being able to get those two knocks on the last two, the former two members there of Navi, and then even have the opportunity at 1v1 was crazy stuff from Stade, to say the least.
Ну, коротше що, Наві зараз візьме топ.
From this game as a whole, but as soon as Boostic made that move, Martin, then there was just a timer above Stade.
Наві зараз вийдуть з першого місця.
So he knew he had to swing out.
У них там уже 150 хуй мочок. Вони зараз ще як цю катку зараз нормально відіграють.
But Boosting getting into that better spot there. Force State off the hard cover, and then there's nothing to do unless you're an absolutely demon. You don't win those 1v1s when you don't have cover.
They're already ahead, but 20 points puts them firmly in number one.
Молодці,
Congratulations
молодці,
to
Наві.
Navi. Of course, we can crown them
Лучші.
properly at the very end of the day because it's not all done just yet. We've still got a lot of movements going on this lobby as well as trying to get to EWC, trying to get to PGS. We know that those numbers are coming tantalizingly close now for all of these teams. One thing I will say, Mark, from this game and from this day, look at the jump from PGG. We were critical at the beginning of the day that they could do more. And oh boy, have they done more today.
Yeah, when they start, they were 15 for 60,
Something
weren't
like
they?
that,
Only 15. And I think that's partly because our region is so close and they've got the best.
152, 117. Їм треба набрати, блядь, хоча б з 30 очок, щоб перегнати Наві. Такі 30. 35. Ну, це unbelievable. 35 це... Наві вже пішло з першого місця. Ну і все, я радий, довольний, щасливий.
Affected the reps he's been able to get in with the team as a whole, because I mean having those international games under your belt, Martin, like be it the PPMI or the PGSs that kind of missed out, definitely should have probably had a bit of a difference maker.
You should always argue that their focus might not be here, but they still want to perform, and it is against teams that is directly contesting them at those global events.
Нарешті.
Being able to take yet an extremely important victory to solidify themselves at number one. There will be no toppling Navi at number one now, but the question remains, Martin, who is going to be able to take the spots? Can you just reiterate kind of what the moves potentially could be before we actually go into this last game?
The big moves, I think, with the biggest chance was that Nemesis could drop down and No Slack could take a third, or Nemesis could drop into 8th place. But I gotta say, the clutch that State had and the points that he maximized from this is a rough one. It's mostly a push for PGC points toward the end of the year.
Yep.
It's looking very locked in for the current Vitality Nemesis to get those spots. If we assume that VP and NAVI gets Esports World Cup invites through PGS.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very important, of course, as those will be factored in after all of the regionals have really kind of taken part. However, the PGS first mark in terms of actually who takes them. And that's why when you look at things like Liquipedia and the resources, etc., and things like that, there's names that are already there, but then it has the asterisk of, like, depending on what happens with those PGS points, right?
Yeah, it's all about the regional. They've got to see the regionals off first, and those PGS points will be key. I'm with Martin. I think we're quite hard now. I think we are pretty locked in. Yes, No Slack do something wonderful, but looking at the leaderboard, that is a mountain to climb.
Я не знаю, я тобі таблетку дав, але
They have to finish ahead of Vitality, don't they? And
якщо завтра не поможе, то їде до доктора йти на.
Going to be very difficult indeed
Ніхуя.
as we take a look at some of our names that have been able to get into these games, and Ascend actually being able to sneak on in here with good old T-Bone making his way on through. And again, that has kind of been an Ascend special in the past. I just feel like, unfortunately for them, Martin, throughout these last couple of games, this last day, they've just been outshone by some of the absolute titans of our region, unfortunately.
Yeah, they have. It's been a little bit rough for them so far today. Like, not too many points on the board, but the survivability has been. Yeah, they need to get another win here to get.
Liar, but
Так, що? Остання каточка, Ерангель, Наві, як все спутаються на своє місце. Що зробив? Де на ноутбук? А це що зараз є? Ну так це я просто відкрив на ноутбуці, щоб чат читати. Але ноутбук дає зображення і на основний монітор. По кабелю, понял? Ні, якщо хочеш пограти на ноутбуці, бери, я стрім буду і так дивитися.
Yeah, there's a bit of a lifeline for them to try and get a few more PGC points on board, right? And for a team like them, actually, again, you know, we said it halfway through the day, they've had a pretty decent run of it here in this finals, their first finals. Obviously not qualifying through into that first one, but of course, this is all important. Here's where we stand. If it all ends right now,
Я хую знаю, хто буде дивитися.
you guys said on the desk, I think it is too far a stretch now for No Slack to be able to make this happen. I think.
Що, ти хочеш катнути генералів?
Yeah, it's too many variables, right? And I think the big one is No Slack would need to get above Team Vitality. Vitality obviously are high enough anyway to be getting some more points. I think we at this point we are pretty much locked in, despite there is no other story to spin. I think there are some questions. And look, everyone knows I'm a fan of everyone in the region, a fan of Team Nemesis, right? But I think they have to look back at this and go, was this the performance we think we should be having? And I think they will come to a no. I think I look at this team and I see them as a strong team. But when you've got the likes of, like, I know Vitality are also strong, I know Tristan, VP and NAVI, I think they hold themselves instead, which is not a bad thing.
I think without the track record of S8UL being kind of a factor, I think we're sending the 5 best teams. And I think that the real winner from it all feels like Nemesis, right? Who went away at the end of 2025, got some kills going on here, PWG takes crossbow, but went away at the end of 2025, completely rebuilt, completely kind of sold themselves to the idea of Nemesis as an organization and has walked away with gold. So I will say, congratulations to them. What effort has been from them, and I'm excited to see them on the international stage when it comes to the PGSs. And of course, I always think we're sending the best teams for EWC because we're cool. That's right.
We just have a little count now every time we say that.
We won the last one.
How many did we win out of the 3? I think we won EWC? 2 out of the 3. Oh, no. I'm talking about PGS. Let's keep it relevant. Let's keep it for this year, right? Yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't know about EWC will be ours to claim, but 2 out of 3 PGS wins, yeah. Best region.
Yeah, EWC can sometimes have some.
Ні, так не думаю, щось не це не йде. Я вроді ніхуя.
But we got to claim that
Зліва набрав. Лівіше брав. Так. Ні, не то, справа. Ото.
Yes, no, we've got a game to cast here. Vitality coming
Бля,
in.
я не знаю, чого
Of
вони.
course, they'd have to do something massive to try and catch up with Navi, but that is not really where their focus is right now.
Не треба без стріма включати, бо то воно може з-за того, що, знаєш, що щось друге відкрито.
Place from Twisted Minds, so they absolutely want to avoid them, or you know, if they ended up running into them, killing them. But normally, where they would be coming in from on a circle like this is so far away from where Twisted Minds would be. So for Vitality,
У мене теж.
they'll be sitting okay over.
Я відкрию вікно.
Interesting that No Slack hasn't moved to a position ahead of Nemesis, working their way in, especially into that northeast corner. They are in South George. They do have a little bit of way to go, but a team which doesn't get the target from the flight path, they always want to go to normal drop spot.
А хуй за неділя, нахуй.
Normal. We have our
Ну, 6 лайків, я знаю, що
of Turkish teams all moving about here at the moment, and for Bushido Wildcats, actually, they fell down quite a bit in terms of the points so far, but they are still kind of teetering around the position of S2G, kind of 1 point ahead of them at the moment. So it's not been the easiest time for our Turkish teams. I'd love to see Turkey rise back up for some of the better spots.
На цьому?
It's just difficult with
На
some
цьому
of the
стрімі
teams.
56 переглядів?
They do. Oh,
Ну, то знаєш, 56 людей зайшло і вийшло. Ну.
running into each other. Surprise, surprise.
Yo, trying to get off the bottom of that leaderboard though. That was a better day. And they did struggle. But as I said with Michael before this, they're going to throw as much as they can at the wall. At the moment, it's going to be a Panther. Cappy will have to wait. No real angles for the construction workers to have a look around. But
Так один перегляд, чи що не роздивився?
Nice start. See what Panzerfaust can do. I think he I think on the left hand side, but he was actually.
Єбать, Капі, нахуй.
Okay, so Cappy
Та
just
їбать,
played
що
a big
пікселі.
move coming around the side. And likewise, they were able to shut down the position that Michael was trying to take as well. Fex coming around with the M249 to shut it all away. So it is completely blow for blow at the moment between these two teams. He's looking for such a cheeky angle here.
Коротше, Йошки від'їхали. Все, Йошки так і на останньому місці і лише.
Taking 16th place, but they did qualify for the final after missing out on that first one.
Обідно за них.
All
Ну,
they can take away from
що я
this.
зроблю?
Yeah, and it was about performance. You've got to talk about obviously the PNC, the fact that they got into the final
Жаль.
is key.
Ніхуя.
But that also goes for the take of Fex and Vard. So for Team Yo,
Ну, а Волкери тим часом розрестуються, може ще щось дадуть. Ну, вони на якому місці? На 8-му? Блядь. В принципі, ще можуть з Віртусами позмагатися за 7-му місці.
But at least now a sigh of relief, I suppose, that it's over, maybe? I don't know, but for construction workers, meanwhile, right, they still survive on, got 3 alive. Technically, you could go over to one of the res stations if you want to try and make a meal out of this, because there's still actually a world where you can get some decent points here, move up a little bit, a few places perhaps.
Єбать, там коли бімів
They're
в'їбала, чуть не
dancing,
винесла, блядь.
shimmy in through
Червона
the red
зона.
zone, looking up.
we've seen a couple of red zone construct deaths. At least it's helping them make these defensive positions on the outside, because we saw on the other side the guys were hunkering down as they fortify their position, so to speak.
То що тут таке?
And that's obviously with Crexy and Nick
Hmm?
up on that sort of south Pachinki hill. No one's rotating past. Last team
Бо
coming
то
up
щось
on
якесь
will
опасне,
be
на.
Ascend. No Slack has started to rotate towards Team Nemesis, but Nemesis taking a different path now towards this zone, and they will get ahead of them.
Yeah, that was.
Так,
They're
а
lucky
то
that
який?
cars didn't get blown up on that, I will say, but anyway. Let's see
Auto
what
який?
Send wants to be able to get
Auto
done.
який?
Over on the west side coming in
Auto
very
який
late
телефон?
stayed, going for a little bit of a trick. Wow! And being able to land it quite
І
nicely
що, ти ним не пользуєшся?
as he controls the bike. Coming in on the north side of Yaznaya, I don't think they'll have to stretch all the way around to what would normally be their rotate, but they might. They might.
They're doing it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's too concerned about holding them at this point in this game, right? I think a lot of those teams know that it's like, well, it's quite far out. Everybody's just trying to center up near towards copy paste as well as kind of the important dips and important compounds.
It's definitely a victory lap again for No Slack. I know they're not obviously on top of the leaderboard, but Finals 1 looks strong. Finals 2 also looking strong. They are inserting themselves as a top team. As I said, if you want to win, you pick up the Finns, but I think they've done so well, especially the underdogs, the unknowns. Because for those that maybe not watching the circuit or keeping on with the scrims or the regional events that happened, especially last couple of years, like they could be an unknown entity to a lot of people watching.
Yeah, you're
Так,
absolutely right. This
таки що, ти
is
продовжив свою візу?
biggest takeaway from the idea, and I said it yesterday, right? That any team could potentially form and go through the cup system and be able to
Ебать.
make it all the way up, right? There's not that many opportunities to be able to do it, but the opportunities are there or have been there and will continue to be there potentially in the future. As we're wiggling on through. Jeez Louise, are we getting away? No, we're not. Nick Seat starts things off very nicely with the barrel to be able to shut that down.
T-Bone will not be happy. But it proves back to the point, if you dig on top of the hill, it's so hard to the point that even if you drive next to it, it'll go down.
Yeah.
Beamy, though, finds Gilliakai, not even going to stop for the loop, as here flatten. VP eager for these kills. They're up to 2. Beamy needs to get a med, but he's got Chris in front that he wants to try and take on.
Versus Pro's just totally happy, ruining everybody's days, I think, now. In the previous game, taking out Vitality and Twisted Minds of all teams, having 9 kills before even anything was really said and done on, like, even the 18-minute mark or something ridiculous. But and now they're just having a nice time on this west side, I guess, just shutting this down and looking for more.
So shift goes back towards, obviously, the east side. We do hold on to some of the water, but we are locking down that kind of farm.
Ти не, вона тебе так
Split.
стала.
Someone request be happy. PCG going for a 2-2 split, but they're in the middle of the road. They've got to be careful here. Construction workers, though, again, we saw them fight out Team Yell. No need for them to move just yet. Everyone else, though, from that north side who might want to migrate in. So very intrigued to kind of see who's VP's next target.
I'm talking about a potential victory lap. Navi might have one on a circle like this. They've got Farm, a big split across the way. Although that being said, there is an emergency pickup. I wonder where Hive actually goes. They might actually hit Farm if they don't see too many vehicles or anything like that down there. We'll see where they actually want to go. Or they might try and hit the location like copy and paste, or even the yard kind of hillside. Simon looking against S2G. Great shots there to start things off. Good spray. Shuts down Schiller. They're really the biggest names at the moment in terms of performance on S2G.
Що?
So them losing Schiller means that for S2G, I don't think there's much wiggle room.
Так що як на Ваню боїться?
There's not much wiggle room at the
That's good
moment.
farm.
We need to be there. Hive has gone to farm, and that's going to try and catch out 2-2 split, but you can see how multiple teams might live there. Depends on where does Hive pick the compound. How he gets that confirmation. Obviously, Sheila Butler has up as he'll go down as well. So for S2G, unfortunately, the wheels are falling off here.
Bit of a drop for Yogurtbedi in terms of the placements overall, but again,
Так, як ми приїхали, я перевдів. Як ми приїхали, я перевдів.
There was so much moving in that area for the day. Still watching S2G catch up to break. They're just running from barrel to barrel and being shot at everywhere.
I suppose Jock Benito is still sticking to their guns and the game style they want to play, and that's aggression. They don't go for placement. Shoot everything that moves. They're like the greyhounds. Just anything that moves, chase it.
Yeah. Let's latch like a rabbit to one of these players and just put it on and see if they can continue after it.
That's why it's the winner chicken dinner. If it was a rabbit, it'd be different. He's not interested. Scab is interested, though, as he plays peekaboo. Finds one, looks for the confirmation, puts the first point on the board here.
Компукер сам себе не...
360 spin zone, and it finds him in safety away from Cristani.
I guess if you're going to jump, you may as well do it.
Ну, і що ти мені тут все привезеш?
You're kind of an easy target to track in that case, but there was no tracking shots coming on in here. Again, Scav has now repositioning himself up on the side, but he knows that there's teams ahead of him, so maybe they want a little bit of a fight. We'll see. They would love, of course, like a 20-point game with Twisted Minds going out, then suddenly means yes, you.
Як хоче, де їбать.
But the problem with that is Twisted Minds going out early, which is not too common.
Ні у кого нічого не жебраю. Не понял. Що? Так, ти сідаєш, що? Я зараз ще півгодини тебе включаю.
Yeah, he comes back towards that Twisted Mind. So they're getting information, they're not extending, they're hoping and praying for a zone shift back.
Що ти таке пиздиш?
We have lots of water down that south side.
Lou coming along to help out example on the defense here.
Так через те, що ти така дурна, бля, я зато й не дозволяю, на.
Just looking to try and shut down any teams coming in from the north, clearing that up and using that as a very ease passage towards any south side rotations or transitions that they need to make. If Simon's going to hit any of this, ooh, Sata takes a bit of damage. No slack though. I think we're going to go straight into Twisted Minds here.
Oh my God, Simon says barrage of shots. Twisted Minds put them back. They want the prey coming their way. And for Simon, He has to find
Блядь, що
something.
тут є?
No slack. Avoided twisted mind slightly. And the zone has got a little bit more towards that south. And I think this is part and parcel. We still have huge amounts of water. And Milta becoming the fixation for centralized zone.
There might be a world where NAVI actually tries to emergency pick up onto the east side of Milta here from farm while this is going on. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. They did put one down, but doesn't look like they're using it here just yet as they're rotating on around that north side. Let's see though. Still, there's an opportunity here for Nemesis coming in from Lumberyard to try and shut down some of these compounds that they want to south side of them. They do know that there's a team in there, it being construction workers. No, they didn't take the ME pickup. They're just driving now.
Yeah, Ascends found the recoil as well. T-Bone will be coming in quite late on the sort of south side, so I'd be happy that he gets a little bit of freedom on this location. They move a little bit further in and actually able to find equipment because the vest and gun will be in his hand.
Натурі?
Pressure on that south side, don't
Я думаю, не
away
знаю.
from this area quite some time, so a bit of a second chance for them.
Interesting spot to take is this kind of like checkpoint location on the road. I personally hate talking about. He's coming. Is he coming? Oh,
is.
run away.
He is
Не
coming,
було
and he
нікого.
scores as well.
Не знаю.
Not
Hm?
happy with losing
Так,
bodies,
сьогодні неділю, він
but
не грає неділю.
I suppose for Jogbenito, they've got another two coming back.
Так цікаво, чи навіть зараз, блядь, винесе
As well. So
хеві,
if
чи ні.
S2G obviously there to try and do the same thing, he has to wait this one out.
Here he does. Cristiano's looking for an interception here. I think he might just try and crash into him, but he goes for the drive-by at the moment. Gets out of the car. Oh my days! And actually that worked out for Baron. Really well done. I think he really subverted the expectations. He thought maybe he was going to try and go for the drive-by himself. Cristiano gets caught short.
You know, we're normally like, hey, Noddy, stay alive. We've got a couple of recalls. We've got a recall coming back. He'll be back to a two-man. No, Jogbenito is not the case. Noddy crashes his way in, wrong side of the car as he jumps across the bridge. It's kind of a old-school movie style, and he's going to tap himself out. 15th place, though. Jogbenito, the aggressors of the lobby, but not for the last game.
Yeah, you know what? Well done there by S2G to be able to shut down the team that actually took them initially. And now Hive, well...
Їбать, бустика забрали, Хакіча забрали. Я хуєю, блядь, пацани, ну ви гоните нахуй.
To get in there somehow from that emergency pickup. Twisted Minds has got something to say about it. They're moving on forwards very aggressively. He's right next to him. Oh, no!
Спайро нокнув Лу, їбануться.
Spiro up against Lou of all names to be able to knock him through the middle of that smoke.
Oh, Example finds him with the grenade as he does work his way back. Looking for that confirmation here. Navi are split, so for Twisted Minds, they'll be able to get Lou.
Екзампл гранатою нокнув Спайро, блядь. Коротше, Наві...
Utility getting dumped.
Smoke it, get it going back once again here.
Що?
As Faris just getting out there now. Okay, I guess. You guys won the tournament. It's alright, don't worry about it, Faris. We'll be talking to you afterwards, probably, about this victory here. But, of course, they will play till the very last man, trying to find themselves a little bit of room, a little bit of sanctuary here is Faris.
Їбать, Феріса ще й забрали, блядь, це піздець. Без жодного очка, без ніхуя, блядь.
It wasn't going to be a victory lap, but it might be because they get to sit back and watch. 152 points, and that'll be the end. Vitality still in second. Twisted Mind are chasing down points here. It's Christo is chasing a grenade as it launches forward towards Hive. He has got his bike ready. He might again apply pressure. Let's get some damage on that as well. So that's a huge throw from Chris, but doesn't find the knock.
I sort of wish they'd taken that emergency pickup now that I was talking about earlier. But anyway, for Navi, as Ascend is still kind of stuck on this bottom spot at the moment, with its Chris kind of going for a leapfrog position forwards and then trying to look down upon this farm location.
Зараз минут,
Still trying to move
минут
forwards here.
15 я
And
виключаю.
Twisted Minds just
20 минут я
bouncing it
виключаю.
past to try and get up onto the high ground to play something for the circle. Lovely
Play
check
for the
there.
circle. And they're just trying to cuddle. They haven't got the zone. That's the problem.
Їбать, що це за екран чорний?
The blackout will happen, and when we come back from the abyss, we find example gets Baron and Lou gets that confirmation. So Hive, they're looking to try and take that emergency pickup. Maybe they go towards that east side.
Maybe. What's Rock's looking at? He knows that Twisted Mind's kind of moved all the way up there. There's a lot of smokes down there, though, on the distance. Does the entirety of Hive have the bear backpack, I wonder? Well, we'll never know, because there's only 3 of them up at the moment. But apparently, as now PGG is moving, you can see them are not moving north.
Я
Trying
думаю,
to
що
wrap
така ж
around to
хуйова.
where Sloyd Jacket is at the moment. Hags Howl is also taking a lot of casualties on that checkpoint road location, or at least taking some damage. As now the man trying to cover everybody with smokes. as Virtus Pro is the ones that's actually putting in some shots there, peppering it in from the south side of Milta.
Peppering it in.
Hmm?
Sends T-Bone finds Schengen though. Gets up from the outside of blue. Obviously faced him before. It's just like with the tick though, but he steps out. He's stepping up. He finds one, looking for the second. He gets it as well. Keta gets a 1-2 and potentially the time to get the res back on.
Good stuff from Keta. Really been very good here for Ascend overall. 73 points to their name. 9th place at the moment. They are still continuing to be locked down here by Twisted Minds. Looking at the will this bounce perfect for a T-Bone knock? Goes a little bit far. As is Chris actually knocks Lou. So they are trading in turn. The Saptar from a distance up on the north.
Блять, але я просив нахуй.
They're trying to make a bit of a run for it.
Ні.
Be able to do anything indeed.
Та чекай, та сиди зараз що?
Days, that was quite a good name.
It was a throw. I actually thought he was going to pick up Batalions at the end there. Keta has to try and get the med back on. He's the final player here for us.
Що?
Obviously changing things up.
Yeah.
Still got a bit to get settled though, but for Team Ascend have made the finals here. I was about to say, what time do we see No Slack activate? Well, it's now. They move in outside edge of zone and they apply pressure now towards Twisted Mind. But Batalions is set up though. Sata comes behind the buggy and it's a 1-2 and done. And No Slack will tab out and unable to catch up with Team Vitality.
30 шок. Ну, вони вже 30 шок не наберуть, це точно. Вони вже 30 шок не наберуть точно. Так що навіть собі гарантувало, блядь, топ-1. Перфект ще й добрали, їх лишилося двоє.
Desperate valley at the moment and getting absolutely blasted by Virtus Pro, who is just having a bit of fun with it, really.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Right, obviously they did win the first circuit. They're looking to try and finish off strong on the receiving end. They are back in second place though, but they are down as all these teams now applying pressure towards them. Luke Ruxton gives the body, does launch it out, and obviously Beamy does get the confirmation.
Все. Вісівно вибили нахуй, заєбісь. Тепер лишилося ще Віталіті вибити і все. І Сасамбіус. Ну, на Мезісі щось набирають поінти. На Мезісі ще навіть може і вийдуть на четверте місце. Молодці. Конечно, всі виключи світло і фонарик.
And I think Prepper is biding his time, and I think he might even have him in his sights, but doesn't want to shoot yet.
He's waiting. He's waiting for the first mortar to go, because I could use that a bit later.
Oh, lovely.
See if Nadip does dial it in. And it's going to be pretty close. Now backs off. PG. I think it's short.
Yeah, on the left-hand side of PGG. But yeah, we'll see as it comes down.
Yeah. It's he's going for position.
Ясно, що це не казала, що такому.
We're seeing so many more teams doing that now.
Yep, no, it makes sense. Makes sense entirely. I was completely wrong up on PGG was, but yeah, let's see what construction workers can get done with that. Still wondering if Quepper's going to take a shot, or if they actually... Oh, okay, no, Vitality sees Quepper, and I think they might shut him down, yep. It's actually Fex that turns around and looks and sees him.
Коротше, на Мезісам ще осталось 4 поінти, і вони обженуть нахуй на слекю. Вибій. Ну, нокай на Гедрукса. О, то дуже добре. Забирають Гедрукса, нокають Квізі, блядь. Забирають Квізі, але сусіда нокають. Паскудяри. Тримай.
And see what they can get done if they want any aspirations of a few more points to try and catch up to the Twisted Minds second place position. Otherwise, we're getting a repeat of Twisted Minds in second. Nemesis, though, here looking to leapfrog the no slack spot with 4 still alive, 6 kills on the board. What can Levante and Hello My Bad do? They have been some of the shining members here of Vitality.
Well, the shining members. They've had such a good run over the 15 games. The team Nemesis just to come at the final game is still the opportunity away from them and secure those top 2 spots for Navi and Twisted Minds. And my bad, he's really stepped up this event. I know he's been self-critical when we saw...
Єбать, я заїбався, пізда. Цікаво, скільки я носив. Кожен 2,5 кілограма є?
I feel like he's really turned things around, especially in this final.
Ну, хулі, опять сьогодні 1000 гривень заробили. Уже двушка. Уже двушка. Уже заебись.
Do a little slit in that window, and now that has actually opened up an opportunity here for Nemesis to make the complete cross here with some of these smokes. And Nade's being charged up by Melman, but I don't think he's going to be able to use it anytime soon. He actually tracks or knows exactly how much he's moving into those smokes, connected some of those shots, and really didn't connect too much more, so didn't quite get the knock. Meanwhile, Virtus Pro doing Virtus Pro things on the other side of the circle.
Так, а що ти будеш збирати, який так не честь?
Kill knock for Team Vitality, and there's also an argument to say if that happens, they can obviously work their way back. Someone requests have to try and defend. 2-0.
А ти пакет його забирай, чуєш?
Deployed.
А що? А нахуй мені того пакет?
Here, but for Storm request, he peeks over. Closed.
Let's see this move. What Nemesis can do against this. For Storm request, unfortunately, they have been one of the teams that's taken the brunt of a lot of damage in some of these games. So this for Nemesis will be easy pickings. We'll see Exhal's gone though on the other side here to PGG as well as Virtus Pro. They have that checkpoint position. This is a really cheeky angle. Oh my god. Forget from a oh, I think he shot it.
О, єбать.
Oh my day. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. They jump in. 2-0. He's got the M249. He unleashes the head of Bruce and misses everything.
Господи, Діман, ти що ти
He's going to be able to third party this as well. There's the potential that they actually do. I think they're ready for this. They know that there's opportunity and points here to be taken. Virtus Pro is also looking to try and see what's going on. Whereas Nix is moved into a spot. Oh, the hell of my path goes down. Zizu, Storm on request.
Ну, бля, я думаю, десятка по-любому вже є.
Team, but will it be enough? There is still a Levante lurking in the distance.
They have to. It's the right play. It is the right play. At the moment, Nemesis had knocks for Team Vitality.
Так, народ, всім доброго вечора.
Construction work is also getting involved. They send it from one side of the zone straight into the heart of Milta and Storm on request. There's two remaining. They are split. Nemesis though down bodies as well. They are
Так, фіналчик, фіналчик, фіналчик. Ну що, Наві вже і так пройшли. Немезісам не вистачає ще одного поінта, щоб піти на 4-те місце. Я думаю, то для них буде максимум. І то, щоб їх ще зараз не винесли нахуй. Бо щось не бачу його в зоні. Хто там лишився, не бачу. Стейт лишився. Ні, сусід лишився. Сусідові мешти, коротше. Бля, як настроїти так, щоб я, сука, нормально це курив, блядь. Це дуже якийсь жорсткий для мене.
They reverse around the corner, finding an opportunity that they can get back towards zone. I think they was hoping that the fight was still going to continue, but they also disengage. Good play from them. And find themselves now on the outside. Now they can on-look towards whoever is the remaining players. For Storm request, they're able to close the gap, so they are back together now.
I think Levante knows exactly how close it is. He's really playing this out, biding his time on this side. You can see him right here.
Здоров, що там як? Юрчику, здорово, дай Боже старина, братуха. Та ніхуя, дивись, що, можу сказати так, Наві виграло цей фінал, Наві молодці, лучші. Вони вже піздують на турнір PGS. Юрчик. Юрчик. За сьогодні, нахуй. За сьогодні заробили знову, блядь, косарик. Ну, бо тебе й не буде видно.
На турі?
В натурі.
Але я близько.
Настроїв? Та видно тебе там кусок. Ніка, привіт, тебе зі Юру
Я дивлюсь,
вітається.
не поняв, ти бачиш?
Весь яку мені хуйню підігнали, Юрчику. Тепер буду таку хуйню курити на стрімах. А це мій братуха зараз, дивись, ззаді мене.
Дуже здоров'я, хлоп.
Тебе, напевно, теж не видно, ти нижче. Мені таке не зайшло, здоров. Тобі таке не зайшло. А, оця хуйня, що курити, не зайшла. Ні, так тут, типу, тут є оця шляпа. В цю шляпу можеш заливати різні шляпи. Тут є одна шляпа, в яку заливаються різні шляпи, поняв? А за Турік, що можу сказати за Турік? NAVI лучші, якщо можеш бачити, 152 поінта, вони вже взяли цей фінал. Я, правда, не знаю, які тут призові. Але ну його, не моє. Ну, воно якесь дуже жорстке, прям дуже жорстко мені затягується, не знаю, я... Біло привички. Не збираюся це курити. Чекай, я приберу. Не збираюся це курити на постоянку, але... Отак, знаєш, блядь, сиджу, ну, хочеться. Немезіся на 98 поінтів. Поки що на 5-му місці. Вже хуйнулися на 4-те місце, ну і все, тут вони і від'їдуть. Я думаю, що він сам лишився, не набере більше ніхуя. Віталіті теж один лишився. Вже все почистив. Та де, Юра? У мене малий Ваня, брат. Він ж теж назбирав нехуйово так. І, коротше, мені спонсорує це все привозить. Ну, коротше, на даний момент з тим всім, що в мене вже є почищено, тобто кабеля, тобто це краники, тобто латунь, плюс труби мідні, всяка хуйня. Коротше, плюс-мінус це вже буде десь на 10-ку гривасиків. Плюс-мінус, я ще точно не знаю, це треба все важити, рахувати, міряти, туди-сюди, коротше. Плюс-мінус 10 гривасиків. І ще, думаю, що ще плюс-мінус на 10-ку назбираю. Ні. Поняв, ну то вже щось. Ну то вже щось, так. Ну зараз 10-ка є точно. Якщо я це все дочищу, це десь буде, я думаю, що десь 20 кусків гривень, я думаю, що буде. Якщо я все, що мені ще малий привезе, і те, що я ще з роботи заберу, я думаю, що плюс-мінус 20-ка буде гривень. Плюс-мінус. Я не знаю, треба все важити, додавати. У мене ще там, кажу, в погребі, блядь, ще там є, блядь, пару десятків кілограм. Тож всього, і того, і того, і того, і вон того, коротше, дохуя. Так що такий двіжняк. In the last day here, that performance and the strike that they had, especially in the last game, was massive. You're right, James. They shut. Але буду бачити, поки що не здаю, аж коли вже все почищу, аж коли вже все прям не буде вже ніхуя, тоді вже поїду то все здавати діло, тоді вже буду знати точно скільки є. Mark can somehow make that happen. It's not easy to make the decisions in that moment, right? You know you've got to stay in the smokes. You know you don't want to negate the line of sight of all these other teams. You know, okay, yeah, there might be a placement point coming. I'm not sure how much do I be aggressive on this team that could quite easily look down on me as 3-man and like put some pressure on against me. But it will be 7 points for Vitality here to be able to take that second place.
I think it's very strong. It's a strong ending. I'm going to talk to Quizzy after this anyway.
Так що, коротше, такі то ділішки. Завтра, не понеділок, завтра йдемо в танчики. У вівторок йдемо в танчики, в середу по домовленості йдемо в паб з малим Ванькою. Може ще когось четвертого підцепимо, не знаю, може Дімона впрошу. Може Дімон з нами катане, може, ну навряд ли. У четвер, я думаю, четвер-п'ятниця, я думаю, що підемо в цю машинку грати. А в суботу нарешті, може, почну мафію грати. А? Ну а що? У мене все, неділю вихідний, а в суботу думаю, що в мафію. Нарешті треба завершити першу мафію і почнемо, я думаю, в суботу другу мафію. Так, NAVI виграли. Правда, я не знаю, чи там є якісь призові, чи нема. Ну, думаю, що якусь 10-ку зелені, думаю, що може і виграли. Але хулі їх там, блядь, 4 гравців, а плюс ще команди, то все, он то, блядь, тренери, хуєнери, я думаю, що там їм копійки. Так що, коротше, такі то діла. А ти, Юрчику, що, як тебе справи?
as we said at the very beginning, NAVI's this team that's sometimes slow, especially on day number 1, and they kind of work in momentum, and they close and they finish strong, and they normally have that explosive final game. They've really changed it now. Is it because of the new players coming in? Because they started game number 1 really strong.
Та нічого, все гуд. Я поняв, що як здоров'я.
Outstanding.
Twisted Minds. Oh, what a fall off from second place in our first finals to third place here. Massive fall off there, Martin. Can't believe. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Заєбісь.
some
Ну і
surprises,
заєбісь.
but the all
Заєбісь.
reality is that, oh, what a 1K club from
Okay.
Nixie and 8 kills. He was actually being beaten by
І-
Beamy, but Beamy also got 5 in this one here, so I'm not sure he's gonna be
Так
able
ти
to
постав
get
пакет на
some
вагу.
frag out of EP, but yeah, they were hibernating from day 1 to day 2. And
Я навіть зараз точно скажу, скільки
here it's spring, guys. Let's jump into
пива
this.
хочу.
Feel that way, right? And polar bears, they'll take man
Давай 7 було.
if they want to. Let's take a look at
2,7 і там 2,2, тобто це вже є скільки?
Navi
5
as
кілограм.
Again, actually, I really do
5 кілограм.
just in the last frame of that
Тобто це вже є. Коротше, на 2,5 штуки гривень в мене вже є чистий міді. 2,5 тисячі гривень. І ще плюс там в мене ще є. Ну, коротше. Коротше, 2 гривень у мене вже є чистої міді лише. Навіть трошки, я б сказав, навіть більше. Коротше, не знаю. Треба все важко, а пуш є. Блядь, коротше. Нормально, нормально. Я думаю, що комп'ютер не за горами.
Maybe Ferris trying to go for something towards the end. This was just the victory lap. He was probably honking his horn saying, "We've won, we've won."
Я думаю, що комп'ютер не за горами.
Down the rest of the
Так що така хуйня. Добре, народ.
and bringing him down. So that's how it all does go here, Martin. What a day it's been, and of course, there's no